But Logan Paul did this like 5-month documentary with this guy who claimed he was going to be on Apple TV, and it ended up being on his YouTube channel. And Logan felt very betrayed by that and was very frustrated by that and felt like I gave my story to somebody who told me it was for something else. And I thought we could watch the documentary. Oh. Oh.
I'm probably the most pumped I've been for a match. Sometimes I'm nervous.
Ooh, do you guys know that Logan does wrestling? Some people think he should do it full time.
Sometimes, I don't know, I don't maybe want to be in there 100%. I'm physically ready, I'm mentally ready. I feel good.
You got this.
Thanks, bro. Best advice I've ever heard. It's WrestleMania. Don't suck.
This is Logan Paul. YouTube sensation, entrepreneur, social media giant, and now pro wrestler.
Oh. Interesting already.
In his short career, he's faced controversy and condemnation.
Do you know what it's like to be the most hated person on the planet? As I do.
Achieved incredible success and riches.
Oh, yo, it looks so good at night. Your boy just dropped 40K on a presidential Rolex.
All for the cameras to capture and all in pursuit of his goal.
You know what's interesting is I did not like the Paul brothers most of my life, but then Logan recently has become much more interesting of a character to me. And I don't think he's, again, it's weird when I say like Logan Paul isn't that bad. What I'm saying is like, if you're really concerned about the world, the least of your problems is Logan Paul. You know what I mean? The most of your problems is something much bigger, right? But again, if you're going to go for like Logan, fine, like you do you. But I think it's kind of interesting the way that he's changed so much. And even, I'm not a big fan of Jake Paul, but even Jake has changed a little bit. But my focus has always been Logan because I think Logan is much more interesting as a potential, right?
Be the biggest entertainer in the universe.
Be the biggest entertainer in the world.
Be the greatest entertainer in the world.
Become the greatest entertainer on the planet.
For 5 months, we get unprecedented access into Logan's world.
MCL pain or just my finger?
Yeah, MCL pain.
In the build-up to one of his biggest stages yet.
Yeah!
To see the private side of a very public person.
The first time in my life I was having like suicidal thoughts.
We meet those in his inner circle.
I'll say whatever the I want in my house. For all you ass out there don't like it, kiss me.
Diving deep into Logan's history.
I've consumed a few hundred pages of story.
And remember that Jake, right, is a Disney kid. Like these kids were exploited by their parents to be famous kids. So remember that, right? Like as we're sitting there trying to have empathy and sympathy for a lot of these kids in Hollywood, a lot of these kids whose parents use them in these ways, the Paul brothers are not exempt from that crowd.
And every consequential video or audio piece that's ever been done.
And explore how at age 27, he's coming to terms with his past.
Look at us.
He's only 27 right now? How is everyone still a baby? Am I the only one getting old?
In therapy.
While still discovering who he is and will be.
Good in here, bro.
Okay, he's 29 now. Oh my gosh, is everyone so much younger? Damn.
I'm Graham Bensinger.
You care about your show, which is why I agreed to do it.
And this is In Depth.
We are in Dorado, Puerto Rico, getting ready for the all-important sit-down profile interview day with Logan Paul. He doesn't do a lot of long-form interviews, but he said when he commits to a project, he's all in, and that's been really exciting for us. Hello, we're here for Logan Paul. So, tell about where we are.
It's my house, my Puerto Rican abode. This is like the physical manifestation of all my hard work. Place where I can just come, relax, decompress, and reset for the next round of adventure. This is it, this is my heaven.
Ooh.
Let me show you around. So this is Dudley, my prized possession. He is a 66 million year old Triceratops. 66% complete, which is fairly large for any dinosaur skeleton. Someone could be doing research on this. Here I am, some collecting in his house like an ass. Look, I like dinos and Pokemon. Pokemon are just like...
Yo, that is kind of crazy though. Yeah, interesting. If you have all the money in the world, would you spend it on that? Man, I don't like anything that much.
made up dinosaurs. You'll walk around this house, you will see 10,000 Pokemon relics. This is like one of the most famous Pokemon cards on the planet. BGS 10.
Logan is older than Jake. Jake is his younger brother.
First edition Charizard. This is one of 3 in the world. I bought it for $150. This is $1 million card. You should wear this.
I should wear this?
Yeah.
This is so interesting. So just to give you guys an energy of this documentary, Logan thinks he's being filmed right now for like Apple TV. He has no idea this documentary is just going to go on this guy's YouTube channel, which we're watching right now. So Logan literally thinks, you know, like he's giving his story to somebody. It's so fun. This is so interesting.
It's a very generous gift.
I wouldn't call it a gift.
I would. That's all that matters. Most you spent on a single card?
5.2 million.
How about what you spent all in on Pokemon cards?
7. Make no mistake, I'm a nerd. I feel like you're really prepared for this.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
100-page packet ain't no joke.
100-page packet?
Is that that's what you said?
Several 100-page.
I guarantee you know more about me than me. All right, let's roll cameras. Can I do the slate? Let me do something. Scene 1, take 1. Slate.
That was amazing.
Nice.
All right, so I want to start actually by talking to you about...
I actually want to start because
Do you?
there's a bit of an issue here.
Okay.
I understand that we both have the same good side.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One game.
Wow, his team didn't do any due diligence. Bro, I don't know how they got away with it. Like, genuinely, I don't know how it happened. Is Logan neurodivergent? I mean, isn't everybody? I don't know. Do they have ADHD or anything? I bet Jake does. I feel like Jake definitely does. You know what I mean? I feel like he probably does, but I don't know. I don't know. Have they confirmed it?
One game?
One game. I'll shut the up and we can continue. But if you lose, we are switching sides. Just one game.
All right, fine.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right.
Oh, there we go.
You won?
WWE.
Isn't that kind of funny? Like, I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm not mad about them fighting over their good side or bad side, but I think it is kind of cute. Like, a part of it is kind of cute that they even care. Because, like, it's such a thing, you know? Oh, says I'm confused. How did they scam him? Wouldn't he find out quickly if they were affiliated with Apple TV or not? I don't know. I have no idea, but this is why we're watching this documentary, because I would never have known about it, except Logan talked about it and said he felt scammed, and now he's mad at this guy, and I just think that's interesting.
In what ways would you say that's kind of the culmination of your life's work?
That's exactly what it is. WWE is like the perfect concoction for everything I've ever done. Like every skill set that I've garnered over my, 18 years of...
His hair is bad. It looks too much like Trump. I'm going to say it right now. The comb over is not working. It's not working. He knows it's not working. It's not working. I'm sorry. Gay sister to gay brother, let me tell you, bro. You gotta get a toupee. You gotta do something different. Gotta shave it off. Gotta do something. I recommend a toupee. I just feel like a really good wig would work better than this thing. It's not.
Being a dirty little professional media slut has...
You know what changed my mind about Logan Paul? Can I tell you guys? There is a bubble of content creator that I will never be, but secretly kind of wish I could have been in my lifetime, because I think I would have been really good at it, but really bad at it because it doesn't work for me. The reason I switched how I felt about Logan Paul was 2 things. 1, a conversation he had with Sid Guru, which I thought was interesting. And 2, a story he did with about the sunglasses. You remember the colorblind sunglasses he did? right? That is like, he said he was there that day. That was the first video I saw of Logan Paul. And I was like, who is this kid? And it was kid sees now. He's colorblind. He can see finally. He got there at that event and he's like, okay, how do we go viral? And he did it and it worked. And I think something about Logan exposes so much about us. I think the world is a reflection of us as a whole. And so when I see Logan or very popular people being popular, it's hard to blame him when we are the reason he is him. Like, we as a collective are the reason these people are them, right? And so I think that's what's interesting. It's hard to see him as a very bad person because in my head, unless he's like raping or killing or sex trafficking, like, or even serial cheating and spreading STIs, like a part of me is like, I don't know. You know, he's just doing the things in his business bubble that make sense to him, right? And again, if Logan is a symptom of the way the system works and you don't like the system, why are you going after Logan when he's a nothing? But in terms of his fame and notoriety, it wouldn't exist without people feeling represented by him. So I think I'm fascinated by him in that regard, genuinely, because I'm like, oh, look at that. And it's not just his fans that make him popular. Every person that covers him, myself included, like every news story that talked about him after going to Japan and doing the suicide forest, like every person that even was mad at Logan Paul absolutely is the reason Logan Paul is Logan Paul. Because we think he matters. You can't get mad at Logan unless you think he matters. And if you think he matters or his actions matter, then it should be a conversation about something bigger. When CoffeeZilla makes his content about Logan, he's saying Logan is the thing that's big, not the behavior. And I think that's the mistake. That's why I don't like CoffeeZilla, is he makes the people he's talking about the thing that is so big. And I want to make the thing that they're doing the problem, not the person doing it. Because the person who's doing it is the problem in his bubble, but it only is in this bubble. And the question is, how does that expand outward? Right? The question is, how does it expand outward? You know?
Given me some sort of skill that I can portray in the WWE. Like my first video that I ever posted on YouTube was stunts, me doing stunts. That was the beginning of my arc as a creator.
While in 6th grade, Logan created his first YouTube channel alongside younger brother Jake.
Whoa, they're so small.
But for the next 8 years, their goofy videos only garnered a few thousand subscribers. That all changed when the 6-second looping video app called Vine launched in 2013.
This guy's audio editing sucks. It keeps going from very loud to very quiet.
That was a close one.
I think it was such a new medium that suited our very rudimentary storytelling and comedy at that point in time better than YouTube.
Today we observe a teenage male appeared to be caught in the friend zone. Research shows there's no escape. I've been spotted.
We both got a little taste of virality, and since that day, have just never stopped.
I'm on TV! I'm on TV! I'm famous! I made it, Mom!
I thought it was just me as a mom, like, you think your kid's funny, but apparently they really were. And there's kids, you know, hanging out the car, yelling, there's Jake and Logan Paul.
Hey, Mom, look what I'm doing in college.
Excuse me, man in the muscle shirt. Did you get any muscles with that shirt?
I'm sitting in these economy classes and business classes and chemistry classes, like doing well, but just not having nearly as much fun. It wasn't as much fun to me. And I made the decision to take the leap, drop out of college with a 4.0. I took academics very seriously and pursue media.
Leaving Ohio University for Los Angeles paid off. Logan made his first $1 million at age 21, and his YouTube channel became the fastest in history to reach 10 million subscribers.
Treat me like God, I'm the one in the sun. Yeah. I know how to win because I've been the one.
This sounds like shit music, so I'm assuming it's Drake. I'm gonna get copyrighted. Guys, like the stream.
Yeah, I'm the one. Yeah, I'm the one. I've been the one. Yeah, I've been the one.
I'm not gonna lie, I do love doing this kind of shit though. I grew up with quads and dirt bikes. Like the first thing I ever bought myself was a dirt bike, and going off-roading and hanging out with like people and getting mud all over you. It is so much fun. The adrenaline is so much fun.
Okay, Graham! Okay, Graham!
Yo, we coming.
If mud's not in your eyes, I don't think you did off-roading right.
You have the glasses on, huh?
Yeah.
Damn, Graham! Damn, Graham!
Rashad Crenshaw in the chat says, I was going to watch in peace until you slandered Drake. I said what I said. I think Drake is one of the industry plants. I bet he diddy just to get where he was, because there ain't no way he would have done it without it. I said what I said.
This is like a good way to kind of really ground yourself and hit a little bit of a restart button in your life. Just momentarily, but it might help you clear your brain for a sec. I do this before my wrestling matches and my boxing events.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is, the breaths are like this.
Yo, but you're not facing the ocean? I feel like you got to face the ocean. I'm assuming he's doing that so the camera has the ocean as the background, but I feel like the best way to do this is to face the ocean. I have the view of the sea from my apartment. Humble brag, because I worked so hard to get it all my life. Thank you. I finally get to like view the sea, and I do find it so meditative and wonderful just to like watch the water ripple or stay calm or all of that.
Big in and big out, but kind of a little fast, like this. Same cadence. It's a big breath. Even more, even more. Like get that bottom part of your lungs and breathe all the way out.
Ooh, Livy says, I think people personalize criticism about Logan because it triggers a sense of justice. And in a sense, I do think Logan should be held accountable. Without a doubt, I think Logan should be held accountable for anything he does, that's like illegal or anything like that. That makes sense within reason, right? If he scammed people out of money because of his little coin thing, I think he should be held accountable and all that blah, blah, blah legal stuff. And again, when I'm viewing Logan, again, I think the problem is one, I think most people are frustrating and difficult to deal with when we're not just getting along. I can get along with anyone who's willing to get along with me. But if we start going into details about how we live our lives, I would say I disagree with how 99% of people live their life. Otherwise, I would live it that way. I don't know if you guys would say that, but it's hard for my brain. It's probably my neurodivergency. But if I was being really transparent and honest, obviously, I'm living the life that I think is the best life. That's why I'm living it. That's why I'm literally doing my life this way. Because I think it is the best way to do life. But I think it's the best way to do life for my type of person in my category. But for other people, there's differences there's differences. For them, that's their best life. So I'm not sure looking at Logan if he's not living his best life. And I'm not sure if living your best life means people won't get hurt. But I wonder if Logan is doing anything maliciously or if he's making bad business decisions because the people who trained him in business. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's actually trying to scam people or if scamming people is a part of the industry he's been in. And then what is even a scam? Now, obviously, he should pay people back for whatever he did wrong. I think everyone agrees on that. But it wouldn't be the first time somebody in business learned the hard way that you can't just do this type of thing, remember? Or, do it this way. Logan didn't marry Tana Mojo. You said, I remember the fake marriage. That wasn't Logan. That was Jake. Like Jake Paul fake married Tana for views. Logan didn't do that. That's not Logan. Logan is different. He's the older brother. Logan did the Suicide Forest, which was crazy. He didn't do the Tana Mojo fake marriage. That was Jake.
As Vine withered away in late 2016.
And by the way, the crazy thing about the Suicide Forest was not that he went there. It was that he put the dead body on the thumbnail. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Logan turned his attention to daily vlogging on YouTube at one
Also, he was being a ruckus in Japan. All these kids going to Japan and making a ruckus of it is annoying.
point posting for more than 400 consecutive days.
I think you said 90% of your life you were putting on the internet at that time.
That's the video. That's that video.
I think you said 90% of your life you were putting on the internet at that time.
That's the video. 14 million views. They had no clue. Wow, in 2016, I was busy protesting and getting ready for the election. I guess this would have been after the election, though. This is the 29th. Then I was depressed in my therapist's office when this video went live because I was so upset that Hillary lost because I didn't understand why Trump won. Great times. Okay, so this video is the video where I'm like, who is this kid? And then it kind of just made me laugh that this worked. Him and his friends got there that day and said, how do we go viral? And then it fucking worked. The internet ate this shit up, bro. Now, I'm not a Logan Paul watcher. Oh, I think this is really important too. I don't watch the Paul brothers as I don't watch them when I'm offline. I watch Impulsive for their guests, but I don't watch, I would never be a fan of Logan Paul's work. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not the demographic. But it's the same thing I ask, why do people like anybody? Why do people vote for Trump? Why do people vote for anybody? Why do people do anything they do? Because there's some benefit to them to do it. They're learning something. They're getting something from it. Right? Okay. I don't mind shared opinions in the chat, but something about the way you talk trolling does not vibe. It's not very introspective, and I think it's annoying me because you're not just giving an opinion. It's the way you're talking about Logan is you're dehumanizing him in a way that doesn't make you much better of a person. You're saying he laughed at a dead body too, and he had the same goofy energy he had in his skit videos. He's a disgusting creature. He didn't laugh at the dead body. He laughed while viewing the dead body because he literally got very nervous, right? He laughed in the way that most people I know would probably laugh when viewing something totally what the fuck? So I feel like the way you're talking doesn't make you much better of a person, but you're ruining my vibe. So either shut the fuck up or give criticism in a way that doesn't make me hate you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I'm vlogging now. You get to see more of me.
What does that do to a person?
It completely shifts their moral compass.
Oh, trolling said, ban me, you're an idiot. Oh. All by yourself. Don't want to be all by yourself anymore.
And I think personal soundness.
Yo, I'm vlogging. Hey, I'm vlogging. I'm a vlogger.
Ooh, menace to society. But most people are. That's the problem. Most of you are a menace to society. And again, you want to hold content creators more accountable than you will hold everyday people that are also menaces to society. If you litter, you're a menace to society. You are. You're a menace to society and you know it. If you drive slow, you're a menace to society and you know it.
I was at a point in my life where I was willing to compromise every part of my character if it meant more attention on YouTube.
I believe that, and it shows.
Bro, I thought I was invincible. What's gonna happen to me?
Your then girlfriend gave you some sort of warning.
Yep.
What was that?
She said, your behavior right now is completely inappropriate. If you keep this up, something horrifying and very bad is going to happen to you. You're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. 7 days later, I did.
Yep.
YouTube star Logan Paul is facing the fallout after posting a video that showed the body of an apparent suicide victim.
I really hate to say this. I think there's someone hanging right there.
The video in question showed Paul walking with friends in a forest in Japan that is known to be a frequent site of suicides.
It stayed on the site for at least 24 hours and was reportedly viewed more than 6 million times.
What, you never stand next to a dead guy?
YouTube should say, okay, we've had a guy who's popular among kids mocking suicide, right? You don't get worse.
I don't like the virtue signaling from society that creates a system that makes people want to kill themselves in the first place because they can't even afford rent or tomatoes. I do not want to be lectured by a society that literally is the reason we even have poverty to begin with in the first place. I don't want to be lectured by a society that really taxes the fuck out of the middle class, creates housing gaps, creates literal poverty, and then they have the audacity to even pretend like they give a fuck about people killing themselves. If you did, you would create affordable housing and make tomatoes cheaper.
Than that.
YouTube said yesterday Logan Paul's channels are being removed from its Google Preferred platform. YouTube is also cutting Paul from the series and suspending his original projects.
And you're thinking what at that time?
At that time, I just I didn't want to be canceled. I just didn't want to get in trouble. Like, I wanted to save face.
Obviously.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven.
God, YouTube apologies are the worst.
I'm simply here to apologize.
How come every other 22-year-old knew that that was wrong? What the happened in my life where I thought that was okay?
They don't think it's wrong. They don't think it's wrong. I don't even think, you will not convince me that society cares about you. As a whole, society does not give a fuck about you. And that's proven through every politician, every policy, every single bullshit thing that happens. Society cares about themselves and the people in their group. And you could get enough people on this planet, you could get 1 billion people on this planet that would have been okay with that video. Guaranteed. Okay? Like, at the end of the day, every other 22-year-old doesn't know it's wrong to film a dead body. And I guarantee you that if you had done it in a different way, we would have accepted it. It was the context in which it was done. If he was a documentarian, if he did a documentary, if he did something with reverence, if he just tweaked the way he did it, the context would have been different and it would have been praised as something interesting. If he had done an anti-suicide video, if he had been impacted or talked to the families involved, it wasn't that he filmed a dead body and put it on YouTube. That was never the problem. It was the way that he did it and the context that he did it. And the context he was thinking was how to go viral. That's all he was thinking. That's all he was thinking. And it worked. And he survived the cancellation. And actually it made him famous. And actually, technically, he did get reinforced. Society doesn't care about you filming a dead body. Society doesn't even care about killing kids or funding an atrocity in the Middle East right now. Society cares about the way you tell the story. Society cares about optics. All of you care about optics. No one cares about morals. They care about optics.
I think he was a f***ing egotistical and that...
Jake saying that with that eyebrow, fuck. That's funny.
I think he was a f***ing egotistical and that put him in check.
He was just so, didn't care about anybody else, really. And you could kind of tell. But, you know, the punishment was way worse than the crime. In my opinion, still, to this day.
I can't.
Yulu says, I think Jake and Logan have both seemed very nonchalant about their mistakes, and that's what makes it easy for people to dehumanize. I don't know enough about them to say too much, but that's what I've noticed. I do think that's true, and I do think if you... So, okay, here's my problem. I know for a fact this is my hyper-focus, if I have one. It's that when I watch stuff, when it comes to YouTubers, I watch like 100 hours of their content. I watch so much of their content. I watch a minimum of 10 hours to figure them out, but then I watch like so much. I did a deep dive on Logan because I was so curious, like, why was he doing what he was doing? And there are so many interviews I saw where he really felt apologetic about what he did and self-aware. And I've covered those things. People don't care. They do not care about the nuance of a character. It's why I say, like, I hold out for certain people, but also I am learning to let go this year of even that part of me because I want to practice, like, letting go of the attachment, even with people that I do want to hold on to. Like, I do want to hold on to them. But I also know that even though I know all of this information about them and they know all that information about them, they have to be self-aware enough to know that people don't know that information about them. And the fact that they don't know that is a part of their blind spot. So their blind spot is the fact that they don't know that people don't care about them. And then them realizing that shouldn't make them resent people more. It should make them be more at peace with the fact that no one knows them except them, which is why they should do right by people and themselves even more so. You shouldn't do right by people because of optics. You shouldn't do right by yourself because of optics. You should do it just because you have that relationship with yourself. But people don't want to have that relationship with themselves because, and I think Sneako fell into this a lot, as many mistakes as Sneako made, what did it matter if the payoff was worth it? The ends justify the means for so many people. Who cares how many kids die in Gaza if it ends up being a win for Israel? Who cares how many people died in Iraq if it ends up being a win for the US? And in some ways, they're right. Who does care? Because if your goal is power and presence, then sure, you want to win. If your goal is humanity, what do you owe humanity when humanity doesn't owe you shit? These are all very layered questions. So if you take it all the way down to, we're literally killing kids in wars. Who cares if Logan Paul is filming a dead body? Who fucking cares, bro? He's dead. But you care because of the optics. And you care because you want to win that war. And you care because ultimately, it's the context in which you've decided to care.
Sit here and rationalize like any of my behavior around that time. It was I don't know how else to put it. It was
It bothers you now even talking about it?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting, bro.
What about it works you up?
I just feel bad, dude. I feel bad.
About?
The victim, his family, the kids on YouTube who had to see some like that. It's dude.
You shared the same publicist with The Rock. Tell about the call you got.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the saddest moments of my life. She was like, hey, Dwayne wants you to remove every picture and video that you've ever taken with him. And I was disappointed in myself, right? Because I had let my hero down. Like, I don't know if there's a worse feeling than that, dude. When I realized, like, okay, holy I've let everyone down, you know? Like, do you know what it's like to be the most hated person on the planet?
No, and either does Logan. Nobody knows what it's like to be the most hated person on the planet. I don't believe that. I don't even know how you would calculate that. Yeah, I don't think that's true. But I would say that no joke, he definitely got a lot of the hate from a lot of people. Could you know if you're the most hated person on the planet?
Because I do.
Does he? Does he though? Yeah, this virtue signaling from Aaron Paul is too much for me. How dare you discuss me? I can't believe that so many young people look up to you. So sad. Hopefully this lady video woke them up. You're pure trash, plain and simple. Suicide is not a joke. Rotten hell. Suicide is plenty funny. I hate this. This virtue signaling makes me want to unalive myself. I hate. That's me holding on to the attachment. My brain sees this tweet from Aaron Paul and makes me want to unalive myself. This virtue signaling is so fake and performative to me, but is also so real, right? It's like so real. And like, that's what's interesting is like, I don't care about this. Like, I watched that video, the Suicide Force video. He didn't make, it's not that he was making fun of suicide. He was experiencing it in a way that wasn't digestible to people. Does that make sense? And I just don't understand this virtue signaling from people who say they're more mature than, is this the more mature reaction? You know what I mean? Is this supposed to be the more mature reaction? Because this feels like the same. Like, suicide is not a joke. Suicide is not a joke. It's like, you make me want to die. Alex says it feels more like an I feel statement than him actually claiming to be the most hated. Oh, that makes sense.
That sucks.
I got lumped into it just by association of having the same last name. I got canceled too. I had to rebuild my whole business because of what Logan did. And by the way, Logan, you still haven't ever apologized.
Decisions that I make are going to, by default, affect what happens in his life and vice versa. That's
Rashad says, what should concern from society look like to you? What should concern from society look like to you? If society was going to be concerned, I'd like it to look like a compassionate assessment of the situation and then some offerings of solutions. Otherwise, shut your fucking mouth. Right? Like, this guy who's yelling at Logan gave no solution, gave no compassion, no understanding. What if Logan committed suicide because of the way this guy came for him, Aaron Paul, from Breaking Bad, right? That's what he's from. What if Logan committed suicide because of that? How is that showing concern? How is showing concern bullying other people? Concern, compassion to me means offering an observation, explaining how people got there, and then creating solutions. Whether they're good solutions, who knows? Whether they work, who knows? I just don't think society is concerned with anything more than how uncomfortable they are. I think real society, if they were concerned, would come up with thoughtful solutions that maybe aren't the right solutions, but put some thought into it. So when Dr. K went viral recently, because people were upset that he was saying men make objective reasoning and killing themselves, and they were like, what do you mean life's worth living? You're not being concerned about the person who's suicidal. You're only concerned with how it makes you feel. You're not concerned about people who are suicidal if you're not listening to them. You're only concerned with yourself. Why are you going to kill yourself? I love you. Why are you going to kill yourself? There's so much to live for. That is not you being concerned with other people. That is you being concerned with how it makes you feel. It has not, like, you're making it about yourself. And so I just don't, I'm not a big fan of that version of concern, you know? I think people have the right to be upset, but they should ask themselves why they're even upset in the first place. I think people should be concerned as a society, but we should ask ourselves, what are we concerned about? And I think they're going to be disturbed by the answer. I think it's easier to blame Logan for being a symptom of society than to blame the problem that even caused the symptom in the first place. Because then they'd really have to think about how they participate in the system and how they're someone's Logan Paul, right? Or they're someone's whatever.
One of the painful things about being related to me.
How did you get out of that period?
I had to.
I need to tell this documentarian or whatever, his audio on Logan is so bad and he should be fired. And this is why he had to lie to Logan Paul about it being an Apple Plus documentary, because it could never have gotten an Apple Plus because the audio is so bad.
Rediscover and change who I was, because I didn't know how I got there. Like, where do you go when you're at rock bottom? Where do you do? There's no manual for that. So I just started trying. That I thought would make me a better person. I got a girlfriend. I became vegan. I took a break from the internet. I took up boxing.
A month after the Suicide Forest video, fellow YouTuber JJ Olatunji, better known as KSI, challenged Logan to a fight. At a time when he was the internet's biggest villain, Logan jumped at the chance to
Yo, Logan looking pretty fine, bro. He looks so much better with a beard and so much better with muscles. Holy crap.
reinvent his public image.
His little boy look, not cute. His man look, though, he's looking pretty good.
You said one of the best decisions of your life was deciding to fight KSI.
Yeah.
Why?
Kinder says I would see myself being upset if my family member was one of those whose body was shown in a random YouTuber's video. Did he try to monetize that video? See, I wouldn't be upset. I don't even know how I could be upset, I think. But that's because of the context, right? But I could see why people would be upset. And I'm pretty sure he did try to monetize the video. I think. Do you guys remember? But I think he did try to monetize it. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong because YouTube took it down within 24 hours. I couldn't be upset at this stage in my life because of the context. Like, the context is everything to me. Like, everything to me. But see, I have more leniency for the context, but people have less sympathy for the context. That is the irony. Like, I'm not even fucking with you. That is the irony. Like, it's kind of amazing, actually. Huh. Yeah, I think it's interesting that we care more about dead bodies than living women. It's interesting that we care more about dead bodies than living children. I think that's what's interesting to me. Yeah, because it's one thing to show someone's dead body after you've like massacred them and you're doing it as a political statement. It's one thing to do it because you think your kid is going into this like crazy place that's going to blow people's mind, because like the idea of a suicide forest even existing is a crazy cultural difference. Like, Japan has horrible suicide rates. Japan is suffering because of shame. Japan is a bubble where people kill themselves majorly because of shame. It's a very interesting bubble, right? So if we were going to hold anyone accountable, it should probably be Japan for even having a culture which has a suicide forest. You're blaming this white kid for going into a bubble that isn't even his, being shocked because it's so weird to us. Like, America doesn't have a suicide forest. We don't have a suicide forest. Don't you think it's interesting that Japan as a bubble has one? Don't you think it's interesting that they have to come on, that's kind of interesting. But instead, it's easier to yell at this like boy who came into a different bubble and use that sensationalism to like shock his own bubble. But we're not in any way looking at Japan like, you guys are kind of crazy. Like, it's fucking crazy. You guys have a suicide forest? That's crazy. And in Japan, when people get off that bus stop, they go, oh, like it's a big deal. Like, that's crazy, bro. But who has time to yell at Japan when we can yell at Logan? That could have been an eye-opening experience for the world to be like, hey, I think something's wrong with Japan. How about all these fucking lolly-holding hentai artists that are rampant in Japan? Don't you think it's interesting that Japan is like the home for a lot of lolly? Don't you think it's interesting that Japan as a culture has a problem with sexualizing underage children? Maybe we should talk about that. No. Let's talk about Logan Paul, who filmed this thing that he wouldn't have even had time to film or interest in it if the culture didn't create it in the first place. Interesting. This 22-year-old kid. But sure, for sure, right? For sure, guys. For sure. Definitely the problem. Definitely the problem. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think he was wrong for the context in which he posted the video, which was sensationalism. I do think that was the problem with the video, is the sensationalism of the video, not the dead body. I do think if he had done it in any kind of way that was educational, he could have been more respected, but that wasn't his bubble. His bubble was about sensationalism. That's what Logan understood. Is like sensationalize. So you do that enough, you dehumanize yourself. That's one of the things in my work I've been pretty consistent about. I do not sensationalize my life because I think it dehumanizes it. Barcraft and all these like sensationalized YouTube channels have reached out to me over the years. Like, hey, we'd like to do a video on your alternative lifestyle. Hey, we'd like to do, and I'm like, no. Because when you sensationalize your life, you dehumanize it. That's why Britney, as a consciousness for the last 10 years, has never done this to my life. Because the moment I sensationalize myself, I'm dehumanizing myself. All these OnlyFans girls, all these ahego, whatever girls, all these like girls making these like sensationalized, like, I cheat on my husband. You're dehumanizing yourself because you're sensationalizing yourself. So Logan is in a bubble that is, in context, approving of dehumanization and sensationalism. And he's a kid who's doing it because that's what he's been told to do for success. Now, he does it less now, but that is the bubble he was in, right? So I don't think the lesson you have to learn is that Logan Paul's a bad person. The lesson you have to learn is that there's a part of the population that wants to dehumanize people in this particular way. It's also why they sensationalize war. It's easier to win a war if you sensationalize the war, because then it becomes less dignified and therefore we're more tolerable of lack of dignity in the war. Sensationalism, in my opinion, is the form of dehumanization we do to allow certain things to continue. I actually even think the sensationalism of the child predators being outed is going to be the downfall of it, because it's too sensationalized, which means it feels fake, which means it won't matter, and in a week, nobody will care. Which, by the way, throughout all of history, no one's cared for too long about anything, so it's not that surprising. But I am a little frustrated at the sensationalism of people coming out with the stories about children being victims in Hollywood and Diddy and all these things. Because ultimately, like, it's not going to stop the cycle. It's just going to be a part of the news cycle for now. But it's not going to stop anything. You know? Brooke says, do you think singers fall under that as well? I mean, look at the way Taylor sensationalizes her relationships. It's all about that money, money, money. Which is, like, fine. If you're in that bubble, why not dehumanize your romantic relationships? If you're in this bubble, why not do things? If you're being rewarded time and time again, and it's what everyone is doing around you, then why would we think it was wrong? It's only wrong because you've decided it's wrong, and you have to decide why you think it's wrong. Right? Like for me personally, I just don't like it because it doesn't vibe with my morals. But like, who cares what Britney thinks? Right? I'm just one person. You know?
KSI gave me a forward.
Goth says Me Too was a pretty successful campaign that was sensationalized. Disagree. I do not think Me Too was successful. I think it was incredibly not successful. I don't think it helped in any way, shape, or form because they over-sensationalized it. Complete, absolute disagree. In my mind, Me Too would have worked if victims were actually understood and heard in a deep, profound level. Instead, it made it worse in so many ways for victims because it was overly sensationalized. I don't think in the long run it did what it was supposed to do. I think depending on what you thought it was supposed to do. You know? Brooke says, how do you stop doing so? Wait, how do you stop doing what? Give me a full question because, how do you stop sensationalizing your life? You stop chasing money. You stop chasing validation from the outside world. I feel like I do it. I feel like I do a very good job at not sensationalizing my life and still having a career. But I definitely sacrifice giving the audience what they want. The audience wants you to objectify your life so they can objectify it. They want you to sensationalize your life so they can talk about it. And I think I do a pretty good job at not doing that. And I think it's worth it in the long run. I definitely sleep better at night than most people I know. So I think you have to decide what are the consequences. And honestly, I think it's better. But that's me. My peace of mind is way more important. You know? Goth says, well, a lot of abusers got outed and it gave women the strength to speak up. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I know what you're saying there too. I do think it helped a lot of people at the time. I just feel like it kind of got lost.
To begin my redemption arc. I had to fight my way back. Literally. I made this deplorable mistake, but give me 1 second to refresh myself. Maybe open your mind a little bit.
Oh, this is another example too of every time you think you have momentum, remember that you got to keep it going in this field, in this bubble. So you see how Logan basically got canceled and got removed from everything and he had to recreate his life. And so he did it with KSI. He had to take that opportunity. So remember that even though you're Logan and you're famous and everyone knows who you are, in order to maintain notoriety and move up in let's say the hierarchy, you got to take the opportunities. And so remember that there's another game to this that's being played. Like I could never play the game Logan Paul is playing. I'd get exhausted. But see, even he's playing this game where he saw an opportunity and he was really smart to take it. But also he knew what his ultimate goal was. Logan's always had a vision. I don't think you could argue that. And I think that is what makes him so unique and so much more successful than anyone else who's competed in his arena. Not literally more than anyone else, but nobody's quite done it like Logan. And I think that's interesting. And I mean, this is just a numbers game. Most people aren't going to do it like Logan because it's a fucking numbers game. But yeah, Logan really learned how, him and Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast is Mr. Beast, but not anyone could be Mr. Beast. It's their brains fascinate me because I know I couldn't do it. I think people think they're stupid and they're so dumb. They're not, they might be not introspective, but to say they're dumb is weird. You know what I mean? Because they're doing something that I know is maybe it's just energy. Maybe it's just energy. Maybe it's not about being smart. Maybe it's about other things, but yeah, nobody quite does it, like these guys do it.
And allow me to potentially be back into your life.
Whether people were rooting to see Logan fail or succeed, he once again commanded an audience. The exhibition generated roughly $11 million in revenue and led to a rematch. Then, seeing the demand, the sport's biggest star, Floyd Mayweather Jr., came calling.
That fight is going to be one of the most ridiculous things ever.
I don't think someone like that should be in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather. It should be a privilege.
I knew that if I could weather 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather, you'd have to respect me. You might not like me, but you have to respect me.
Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul go the distance.
In the locker room after that fight, you got really emotional.
Super.
I can't fathom what just happened. By far, the most significant, special moment of my life.
What was it about that?
I think the juxtaposition that existed in my head from where I was post-Japan to where I was post-Mayweather was too hard for me to comprehend emotionally.
It's really difficult to comprehend. If you're a 22-year-old Logan Paul and you're in doing your video in Japan, how would he even have predicted that he would be boxing Floyd? How would he even have been able to predict? None of us predicted it. No one in the world could have predicted that that kid in Japan filming in a forest would eventually box Floyd Mayweather. Tell me that is not so interesting. That is so interesting. RK says dudes on autopilot doing all the business crap. He must have no time to express his emotions most of the time. Graham Stephan recently decided to take a break or do a little bit less because he realized he had done something similar where he just focused on work and it definitely paid off. But he missed a lot of opportunities to do lots of things and now he's just trying to be more of a person. And I think that that's what I've never been able to trade for work or fame is me being a person. And even now, I'm in the middle of my hustle era, as I've told you guys, and it's paying off. Oh my God, guys, thank you so much for liking the stream. Everything is paying off. It is true. I mean, I'm following every stupid rule that I've seen in every podcast, and it is working, but I cannot sacrifice my sleep, and I will not sacrifice time with my family, and I see that impacting the business, but also it's worth it to me because in the long run, I'd rather choose that other stuff, but I see it. It's so stupid because everything they say, Mr. Beast's top secret is on a podcast. It's true. But I will tell you this right now. It is not without stress and it's not without something, but I could never be at this level. I just could never be at this level. And I radically accept that about myself, but it's the same thing when it comes to meditation. People will tell you to meditate, right? And you know what to do, but sitting down for 10 minutes and deep breathing is so fucking hard. But when you do it, it's exactly what they say it is. If you really do it. That's how I feel about everything. If you really actually do the things, and I don't mean just performatively doing, you can't performatively meditate. If you are actually meditating, it will absolutely do the thing. If you are doing the right thing on YouTube, it will absolutely do the thing. But you can't performatively do it. You can't performatively say, oh yeah, I've been streaming 12 hours a day. And you are streaming 12 hours a day, but it's the streaming sign that says stream starting soon. That's not you streaming 12 hours a day. I know you said you were, but you're not doing it. And you're not doing everything else that comes along with it. Lots of people do a little bit and feel enough dopamine reward to be I did it. I knew a guy who used to go to the gym, drive to the gym, check in on the app, and he would get that reward, whoop, and then he would drive back home. So he would tell people at the gym, and he was at the gym. He just wasn't working out. But it didn't matter because he didn't have to work out to get that reward. Because working out is actually not the reward. Showing up is that dopamine whoop, I got it. I did it. Working out is the hard thing. So yeah, if you work out every day, the gains will show. But that thing you're seeking, you don't even need to work out to get it. Which is why people don't end up being the greatest. They don't end up going down the path. They don't end up doing the thing. Andrew Huberman got all the reputation of being disciplined. Justin Waller gets all the reputation of being disciplined without actually having to be disciplined. They only need to be disciplined in certain areas to get the social reward of being assumed disciplined in every part of their life. People do it just enough to get the right amount of reward and then they don't do it. I want to do it enough to get all the kinds of rewards. I want to be a whole human being. That's my goal, which I would argue is tougher. I am choosing a harder path, but it's also the only path I could have chosen. I could not live with myself. I just could not live with myself and be Justin Waller level of disciplined. It's not good enough. I just couldn't live with myself, you know? I don't think I could live with myself and be Andrew Huberman level of disciplined. You know? It's not good enough. I want to be a level of disciplined that's like whole picture. And I know I'm not there yet, but that's the point. Is like I'm not pretending to be. And these men, they want the reputation and the respect of being wholly disciplined when they're not. And that's embarrassing to me. I don't think I could sleep at night, but that's my morals.
Somehow I felt personally like I had done enough course correction and had worked my ass off, both physically and emotionally in a personal way, that I just achieved something I had wanted to my whole life.
It's me anymore. You're really good.
Thanks, man.
Holy
Thank you, bro.
Holy I'm gonna beat you, bro.
You're contradicting yourself.
I would win very easily. So if he's okay with getting beat up by his little brother to make money, then I'm down. Let's do it.
Sometimes I think they play this game because eventually they will do it. They're just hyping it up like years in advance, you know? Kinder says that was so common in college, saying you took a class because you signed up but not attending. Same with the clubs. Yep. Brooke says, so is it that they just want people to be proud of them? That's a great question, Brooke. Is it just because they want people to be proud of them? If I'm going to be really honest, okay. Okay. For thousands of years, we have written about great philosophers, great men, great women. For thousands of years, we have consumed stories upon stories about our ancestors, about civilizations, about great people. And we dream of being great people. And then we learn lessons and hear stories about great people that fought wars and great people that made money and great people that had lots of hoes. But then we hear great stories about people who stood up for their families and people who went to work every day and people who loved their children. And we have in our bubbles different variations of what a great person is. And then depending on which version of greatness you are seeking, regardless of which level you are seeking, whether it's being a great father or a great thinker or a great philosopher, it is not easy being great. And to be truly great, in my opinion, comes with humility that most people are not ready to have. I think every single great person, truly great person, had enough humility to be great. And I think lots of people praise the wrong people for being great, but minus that, okay, I think a great person, whether it's a great father, a great mother, a great whatever, has the right level of humility to have been great in the first place. Right? And that is something that I think we miss. So everyone wants to be great, but no one wants to do the work to be great, because the amount of humility you need in conjunction with the amount of ego you need, it's really hard to understand that balance. It's really hard to understand that balance. I'm so great at work, so I must be a great father. No. I'm so great at being a husband, I must be a great father. No. I'm so great at being a father, I must be a good partner. No. One does not mean the other. Andrew Huberman, Justin Waller, all these people, I must be so great at working out. I'm so disciplined when it comes to my diet. I must be a great partner. Obviously not. I'm so disciplined when it comes to waking up every morning at 5 a.m. I must be so great and disciplined when it comes to being a partner. No, apparently not. They want the title of a great great man without doing the work necessary. And I think that's just all of humans forever. And I'm even going to say that the lore of a great man is also sort of a mythos we create. Uncle Iroh was a great man, but not until Korra. He was a great man, but he wasn't truly a great man until Korra. He was always a great man, but not fully, not well-rounded. In Avatar: The Last Airbender, Uncle Iroh literally throws tantrums. He literally runs away from his problems. He literally doesn't know what to do. He learns through hardships to be a great man. And that took a lifetime. Yeah, people want the title. They don't actually want to do the work. And now, again, macro versus micro. I think lots of people are great people, but I don't mean great like good. I mean great like a myth around greatness we've created. You know? Maddox says, are you a great man or did you just do some great things? That's the question. That's the question. Are you a good person or do you just do a couple of good things? Are you a bad person or have you just done a couple of bad things? Are you anything? That's the question. You know? And all of this is subjective anyway to the construct and to the narrative. And it's all perception at the end of the day.
You think that'll happen at some point?
Sure. Why not? Like,
I mean, your mom.
do we want our kids to have Bugattis or Toyota Corollas?
Toyota Corollas. Fuck a Bugatti when you can get a Toyota, bruh.
What role does Jake play in your life?
He's the yin to my yang. He's the antithesis of me and yet the same thing as me. Like when I have no one to talk to because of an unrelatable problem that only someone in my position would understand, I call Jake.
How cool is it that each of you guys are in a profession where you're able to, in some ways, work together?
Coolest thing in the world.
It's so much.
Cognitive says Bill Cosby's a great man, but not a good man. I don't know that I would call him. I would not call Bill Cosby a great man. I would just call him a successful man, which is not the same. Bill Cosby was successful. He wasn't a good nor great man, in my opinion.
Much fun. I came into the gym today and seen this picture. He just put that up, and I was like, "This is just unreal." Like that was my.
That's a great picture of Logan jumping.
Motivation for the day is just seeing this picture. We just uplift each other, and it's my best friend.
All right, carry on, bro.
Let's go.
All right, so what's the plan for...
I can tell they're very close as siblings. As a sibling myself, 9 siblings, they are very close as siblings.
Rehab today.
Just continued rehab on the knee.
Hold that as you straighten your knee off the table. MCL pain or just my
Yeah, MCL pain. Recovery's been going great. Going from a grade 3, almost fully torn MCL to now jump roping and jogging in just 4 weeks.
Wow.
I'm flying through this, Graham.
Let me in a little slower than that. Pull me up. Pull.
Yeah, guys. So when I was talking about macro versus micro, there is going to be a different definition for great. So then it's a bubble dependent. So when we're talking about like a great man, like the mythos of the great man, that is one bubble. When we're talking about great, meaning the people in our lives, that's a different bubble, right? So we're talking, it depends on which conversation we're having, right? Are we talking about greatness? Or are we talking about like good enough? Are we talking about like, oh, he's a great man. He's like very nice to his family. Are we talking about greatness in terms of like discipline and humility? Like all of these things are different, right?
Pull. Come on. That's it. Hold it there.
Sorry, I'm trying to come up with a title for Impulsive right now for the episode going out in 11 minutes.
Logan's podcast Impulsive draws millions of listeners every week. Along with boxing, it's another vertical of his expanding business.
You want to have like
I've noticed all these boys podcasts are going down though. Everyone's getting less views, I've noticed. Not totally, but a lot of the boy bubbles, they're falling. And I think it's probably because people are worn out on it, honestly. And also, it's just like a lot of it's too sensationalized and too characteristic. But yeah, I've noticed like things are going, like I think people are burnt out on it.
growth in your ability to converse, in your ability to listen, in your ability to understand humans, in your ability to read a room, this is a great space to do it.
You said something to the effect of, without the podcast, you don't think Logan would be who he is today?
He was known as this kind of douchey character. And when he created the show, it gave people an hour-plus uncut look at what this kid is capable of and where his brain goes. You know, and I think that it was able to help him build his brand into something that lived outside of YouTube and gave him runway in multiple different directions.
Most of the stuff that I've accomplished thus far has been on the internet, which is cool, but my goal has always been to transcend that. Seeing the effect you have on the world, I think is much.
You see how he has a goal of transcending that? That's interesting. I was watching, are you guys in the Jackie Anna? Are you guys in that bubble? She's a makeup influencer, and she's been like one of the OGs since day one. I've been hopping into her bubble a little bit more, and honestly, I can see why people hate her, and I can also see why people like her, but she really did that. She really did that, and I think that's interesting. But if you follow her bubble, she's very disliked on TikTok especially, and a part of that is that she's kind of a bitch, but only Aina, thank you, Jackie Aina, thank you. She's very like standoffish. She looks like a girl who can't find a husband because she's too this one. Yeah, Jackie Aina, that one. She's like this. She's very like, she feels uptight. She feels like she has no chill. That's what it is. Jackie feels like she has zero chill. And I think that's interesting because a part of me is like, yeah, but she really did that though. Yeah, she's always on the defense. This girl is always on the defense. And I'm like, interesting. Like, I mean, I hear nothing bad about her and I have nothing bad to say about her, but I wondered if she's waiting for like a man or like herself. She has a husband. She doesn't seem like she has a husband. She's just icy, bro. Her videos are icy. You know, like she's icy. And I guess that's like a vibe, but like, I don't think it's very nice. I feel like she would hate a baby if she held it. Like, that's the vibe I get from her TikToks, at least. And I don't, no judgment. Literally, I say this without judgment. She's probably a very nice person. But she always feels like she would judge a baby for what it was wearing. That's how she feels to me. And I don't get it, but she is good. Like, you cannot doubt her success. She made a TikTok recently that made me laugh so hard. Someone was like doubting her and saying like nothing about her is luxury. And then she showed the elevator in her house. And I was like, she really did that though. Like, I don't think you can disrespect her in any sense as a businesswoman. She's obviously so successful. Yeah, maybe I haven't seen enough of her. Sage is saying I feel like she's down to earth. Really? Jackie Anna? Are we watching the same person? I'm only on her TikTok right now. I'm only watching her TikToks. And I only saw her on YouTube, but I like jumped out of the makeup bubble like 10 years ago. Her and her husband are always on Instagram together. No way. I went through her whole TikTok like in the last like week, and I'm like, and I've just been following her recently because my YouTube or my TikTok algorithm just sent her my way. And I'm like, I'm getting the weirdest vibes from her. I'll have to relook. Okay, I'll relook. Maybe I missed something. Obviously, I missed something. You guys know more about her. But isn't that interesting? See how I jumped into the bubble, but I only just like touched it? But it's amazing how people doubt her success. Like, people are literally on TikTok saying like she's poor, she has no success, she's not luxury. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, she obviously is very successful. But like, people hate her on TikTok. I wonder why people hate her on TikTok. Interesting. Okay, I think that's interesting, yeah.
Much more exciting to me than any of the YouTube content that I've made thus far. Really, I think so. It's like a respect thing. Like, there's a certain stigma that comes with being an internet like kid. How much of
Brooke says, is TikTok dangerous or not? Nothing. Well, why would it be dangerous? Guns aren't dangerous. It depends on how you use the gun. Nothing is dangerous. It depends on your relationship with it. Plenty of people do meth and come out fine. Nothing's dangerous. It just depends on how you do it. Or maybe some things are dangerous, but like, I don't know how TikTok is dangerous. You know?
That do you think, though, is in your head in terms of the respect thing or the stigma, etc.?
Truthfully, I don't know. I'm confused as to what people think of me. I think it's so jumbled.
One thing that is clear is the success of his beverage company, Prime Hydration.
Okay, I've never seen Prime in stores. I have always tried to look for Prime. I haven't seen it fucking once. When I was in America, I looked. Everywhere I go, I look. I never see Prime anywhere. Who the fuck is buying Prime?
Let's go!
I want to try it, but I never find it.
Co-founded by boxing rival KSI, Prime sent customers into a frenzy and
If people like her, if people like Jackie on Instagram, that's millennials. If they like her on TikTok, or hate her on TikTok, that's Gen Z. I wonder if Gen Z hates Jackie. Sorry, just thinking about Bubbles. I wonder if TikTok hates her because they're young and don't know her, and Instagram loves her because they're millennials and they know her.
turned schools into resale markets after it launched in January 2022. Within 13 months, it became the official global sports drink of the UFC, and its year one retail sales totaled $250 million. For context, that equals year 8 sales of Body Armor when Coca-Cola first invested and later acquired it for a total of about $6 billion.
Your long-term goal with Prime's what?
It'd be nice if it sold for $5 billion.
He's just always pushed the boundaries. It's always been, what am I doing next?
Yeah, see, this is crazy. I wouldn't even know how to do this. Like, I wouldn't even know how to make a sports drink. This is like an amazing thing. You know what I mean? Walmart sells it? Why was it never in our local Walmarts? I never saw it in Walmart. I'm so confused. I missed my chance to get Prime because I'm not in the States anymore. But when I was in the States, I never saw it anywhere. It used to piss me off because I wanted to do like a review of it.
Like, hey, slow down. We gotta like think about some stuff, but like he always wants to go.
Told you I'm impatient.
Go.
I'm impatient, which is good for certain things, but other times I need to be real.
Bro, look how many people would have just given up and like went off the internet. But see how Logan can give up? That's what I'm saying. If you're a content creator who can handle cancellation, you will be successful. Because someone's going to hate you on the internet, whether you're the best person or not. I love when Christopher Hitchens tried to cancel like Mother Teresa back in the day. That's like the best part. And don't get me wrong, Mother Teresa got issues, but I mean religious people, you know? Like, but it's amazing. Like Mother Teresa being like this saint to people, got the world, like the Peace Prize. And then Christopher Hitchens goes and exposes her for all the things she did within her religious boundary to like make people prolong suffering. It's like a whole confusing thing to go. It's a whole bubble. But people going to cancel you is my point. Okay. Didn't Gandhi cheat on his wife? Martin Luther King cheat on his wife too, right? Cancel these bitches. But also, amazing what you'll do if you can survive a canceling.
Then, and it's also where a lot of my mistakes come from. I just move too f***ing quick. Like, bro, my podcast is called Impulsive for a reason.
This probably looks so stupid. In real life, it looks mad stupid. Yeah. But the final result is great.
How's it going so far?
Great, actually. I'm kind of catching my vibe. It takes me a little bit to get into it, but like, I'm having fun.
Catching your vibe means what for
Are you a dad yet?
No.
You can be a great dad, man.
You.
Catching your vibe means what? Sorry, I'm having fun. Catching my vibe is like I'm in a rhythm that is conducive to my environment.
Balto, did you just April Fool's me in my own comment section? If you have Amazon Prime, you can get exclusive Prime flavors that aren't sold in stores. April Fools? Wow.
For plane?
Welcome aboard Flight 264.
Welcome to snowy West.
What do you guys think about this guy's like documentary style? Do we like it or hate it?
It's like Ohio. This is where I grew up.
You miss this place at all?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No, zero. Love coming back. Really great place to grow up.
Yeah.
But I have felt like it was a box for me. And I just was like banging to get out. I would look around.
I'm bagging to get out. Wow. I was bagging to get out. It was just like, I was bagging. Love that.
And just, I'd want to just do such big things in the world. And this was not the place to make that happen, I felt.
All right, so we're headed to Westlake High School.
Yeah, this is where I went to high school. Go Demons, dude.
So what comes to mind when you come back here?
One thing I felt like my high school did well was make me feel like I could be something. I never felt restricted by like the people here.
What do you think it taught you?
That being unique.
Wow, they really went back to his like old high school.
Is such a good thing. Feeling different.
Okay, here's a question for you all losers. Oh my God, I get bullied for being unique. I'm like unique and that's why I get bullied. You know, everybody has that story. So would we all unique? I guess no one is. It just means you stand out from the crowd. And that's either in a bad way or a good way. You know, hearing Logan Paul be like, oh yeah, I'm unique. Like I'm unique. And I'm like, yes, but probably not in the way he means or maybe in the way he means. I don't know.
Different. Although in high school, you feel kind of alienated, is actually such a blessing.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if every streamer and YouTuber, like you do have to be kind of willing to be alienated for sure. I see those TikToks sometimes that are like, your greatest haters are your family. The people who follow you the least are your family. Yeah, dude. Did you go to work for your family's approval? Don't be a freaking freak. You know, Ludwig is like, if you want to be a top streamer, you have to be able to send your videos to everyone in your life. And I'm like, no, dummy. That's your bubble where you get along with your parents in a very specific way. No. But also, like that's so interesting to me. Can you imagine being in a bubble where like your parents watch your streams? I could literally never. Because I belong in the bubble where your family's like, you're at work. What do we have to do with that? And I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of my job. I don't want my family involved in my work. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm at work. Like, let me have my me time. But then, for a lot of people, like, they do want their family involved in their content because, like, that's what helps. Like, some people do have their, like, moms or dads or family on their streams. And, like, I've had a couple people come on my streams, for sure. But generally speaking, like, I'm at work. You know? But then Logan is an example of somebody who made his family his content as well. Like, his dad works for him, right? That's, you know, so different bubbles, I guess. But yeah, I'm not surprised that Logan was alienated, but I'm also not surprised any person who became a streamer would be to some extent, or a YouTuber to some extent. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Like, everyone's the same, bro. Humans are like cookie cutter versions of the next person.
True.
And I just like never wanted to be.
But you are. Logan's in his own category. No one is special. Everyone is unique, but no one is special. Like, Logan isn't special, but he is unique. He's in a different category of person. But he's a cookie cutter of somebody else. Look at the way he runs his businesses. Logan is not that unique. Everyone is a unique consciousness, right? For sure. But, like, Logan reminds me of so many people. He hangs out with people who are so similar to him. He's a cookie cutter of a very specific kind of dude, bro. But he doesn't see himself that way because nobody does. But I think we're all categorized. Like, we can all be categorized similar to other people. But your consciousness is unique. Like, I can't replace Logan with somebody else. But nothing about Logan can't be replaced except his consciousness. And that's a very hard thing to realize. Like you, like me as a streamer, I could be replaced. Somebody else is doing the same work I'm doing, probably presenting it better, right? No one can replace me, but you can replace the work that I'm doing. And I think that that's something that I do radically accept. You can't replace me. I'm one of a kind. But my work is not one of a kind. My work is very similar to what other people are doing.
Like that.
You see that guy?
Yeah, look at that guy.
Wow.
What a dweeb. What a dweeb.
So tell me about 2013 wrestling.
I didn't wrestle my whole life like a lot of the really good wrestlers, but I picked it up pretty fast, had a good physique, obviously worked hard as I made it to the state championships and I placed 5th in the state.
If Goth, you're saying, I don't know, Brittany, you're pretty unique. Logan Paul's a dude, bro, but I don't know anyone else like you. I think you find people more like me in the philosophy bubbles, in the specifically like meditation bubbles. I do think I'm much similar to a lot of people that I at least see in my life. But I could see why I'm not like mainstream people. Like there's no one in the mainstream like me. But my stuff isn't even mainstream to begin with. You know what I mean?
State of Ohio, Division I.
Logan was also a star on the Westlake football team. More evidence of how his athletic prowess would eventually translate to a much grander stage. But Logan Paul the athlete is just one piece of the puzzle. To learn more about Logan Paul the person, we traced the social media star's roots back even further.
Oh, there's your dad.
What's up, you big galoot? Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna have him back up here. So that truck can get all the way to the garage. Look at him. You stay right there, goofball. Don't f***ing move. He's such a problem, bro.
What kind of problems would he create for you?
Bro, he's a liability. You'll see today, bro. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand like normalcy and how to be cordial and respectful.
Autism. He probably has autism. Levi says, do you think there are people who genuinely don't have a deeper consciousness? Like they just do what they're told and don't really think deeper? What is the consciousness if no one is aware of it? Have you seen my video on the levels, guys? If you're new to my audience, I literally explain this in the levels. It's in the descriptions of my videos. I worked really hard on this video. Copy link address. I will put it in the chat. That's why I did the levels. The levels is an explanation of the depth you have with your consciousness in the world around you. And that's why I say, like, yeah, most people are 2s and have a 2 understanding of their consciousness, which is fine. And then some people are other things, you know? So, you know, it's not that people just do what they're told. It's that people do what makes sense. And what often makes sense to people is what other people are saying out loud. Balto says, is there level 0? No.
I don't know what they're doing. Get out of my way.
Why don't you just let them do their job?
No, they're doing a job.
How? They're backing up a car.
Dude, don't give me any okay? I've done this a million times. I know.
Don't they? Who gives a
Huh?
Who gives a They're just backing up a car.
I'll say whatever I want in my house. And guess what? For all you assholes out there that don't like it, kiss my
He seems a bit drunk, if you ask me. He's got a bit of a drunk look.
Hey, Graham, you gotta see this, bro.
Okay.
This is Pete Greg Paul.
That's my 80-pound chow. And he got hit by a car and was killed instantly.
Oh, I love a chow chow. It's a taxidermy chow. Oh.
And we weren't really ready to say goodbye, so we got him freeze-dried in a sleeping position. And here's the thing.
Is that a dead body? Did we just show a dead body on stream? See? It's the context in which we allow things.
If I were making the kind of money these guys are making, I would be considered eccentric.
Many areas around Greg Paul's home are unchanged since Logan and Jake's childhood.
You guys didn't often have bedroom doors growing up.
If we acted up, Greg would take our doors off.
Damn, I forgot about that.
The two boys split time between here and their mom Pam's house, located just a few miles away, as both parents tried to maintain a steady presence in the kids' lives after getting divorced when Logan was 7 years old.
I just don't see how my mom and my dad ever meshed energetically. Like that marriage, in my eyes, was destined for failure the moment they got engaged.
There was no amount of tail
They're so different.
that would ever pull me away from these guys. I had multiple women fall in love with me and wanted me to pull me away and be first.
Okay, for the record, just as taxidermy is art, bros, taxidermy is art, and I'm actually a big fan of it. And honestly, I think about taxidermying my cat all the time. Like, could you imagine if I just had Indiana behind us on stream all the time? Haley says, calling parents by their first name always fascinates me. I have a friend who does it. It's really interesting, and I'm not surprised. I also think their parent is autistic or neurodivergent for sure, and I think it makes more sense for them. Because they told me, I asked them, I was like, why do you let your kids call you by your name? And they were like, well, if I'm in a crowd of people and someone's screaming mom, I'm not going to pay attention. But if somebody says my name, then I'll know they're talking to me. And I was like, interesting. You know, there's something interesting about it. I could never call my parents by their first name. But at the same time, like, they're different, you know?
And I'd always be like, no, you're not being first. It's not going to happen. My boys are first. In
It's not negotiable. When a mom or dad has a kid and that's not all they want to be, I don't even understand that.
I found it truthfully kind of surprising and heartwarming that when I talked to you about being a father, that to me seemed like the one thing in life that you know you wanted to do. Like that was a mission of yours and you were excited to be a dad.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you raised us so intensely and so harshly. At times, I didn't feel like that was your prerogative. I didn't know it was coming from a place of love because it didn't feel like that at all times. But to you, the idea of being a father was everything.
Very exciting, Logan's first day of school.
What do you think you learned from him about work ethic?
Everything. I attribute almost all of my success to my dad.
Why?
You can do anything with hard work. We'd be 10 years old working 12, 14-hour days renovating a house that my dad was working on for no pay. Scraping gunk out of corners like 4 inches thick. I don't even know what this it is. And like he put us through the ringer. Then all of a sudden, I'm 14.
His dad feels incredibly like Midwest misogynistic to me. You know?
Years old and I'm wrestling, and my ability to endure the 2-hour workout is much greater than everyone else's. I was working that hard on something I didn't love. So when I found something that I loved, no way anyone's gonna stop me.
I worked that hard on something I didn't even love. I worked that hard on something I didn't even love. And so when I found something I loved, there wasn't any way. Yeah, I think there's something strongly profound about that, actually. I worked that hard on something I didn't even love. So when I found something I love, there wasn't any way it's gonna, okay. Yeah, I think there's something about that that is like, yeah, interesting. Something about that. My brain is processing. Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting to me. I do feel that way. Like, I'm so grateful that this is where I am in life. Like, I'm so grateful. And I know that I have to be grateful for the momentum, even though it's incredibly stressful. It also is such a blessing. But yeah, I've worked so hard my whole life on things I didn't even fucking like. I work hard now on things I don't like working out. And editing, I don't really like it. I mean, I like it sometimes, but I mostly like streaming. I like this. But I do it so I can do this. But also, you're never working hard enough because there's never nothing to do. There's always something to do to get to the next level. But then it always keeps you going. So there's something about that. You do, and even in things you love, you got to do things you don't like. I wonder what parts of the job Logan has to do now that he doesn't like. That would be interesting to know. You know?
So, I mean, this was probably the biggest blessing of our childhood, just the space we had to be kids and to be imaginative. The house is like 2 acres of property.
That's nice.
But we back up to the metro parks, which is just endless amounts of wood. So we go exploring in
It's
there.
like hundreds of acres.
Oh, that's so cool.
We built like forts back there and all types of things.
This is where the trampoline was, both of them. And we would jump from that treehouse, which is now collapsing, onto the trampoline. Which is why, truthfully, I feel so comfortable flying in the WWE, bro. I've been jumping off my entire life.
Now Logan, you see, he's a wrestler and he's undefeated. Watch this.
My dad would lock us out of the house and say, go play your kids, go have fun outside. I think it's where my creativity comes from. We had to make fun. Then when I got older, I was able to reroute that creative energy into media. My dad would joke. He'd say, you know, when you guys get older, you're gonna be rich and famous, and you're gonna buy me a plot of land, and I'll be the groundskeeper. I don't know what he meant. Then all of a sudden, I bought this ranch in California, and I was able to make our childhood dream come true. Probably one of my proudest things. Having my dad work for me at my ranch kind of salvaged our relationship.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
How so?
I have not always been the most communicative with either of my parents, but now he does a dialogue that has to occur and have a reason to communicate with his son.
Logan said a couple years ago that he doesn't take any of my advice because he's done more in life than me and he's made more money than me and that there's nothing I can teach him. And I said, Logan, you saying that makes you so stupid, it's unbelievable. You're actually getting my advice because he's done more in life than me and he's made more money than me and that there's nothing I can teach him. And I said, Logan, you saying that makes you so stupid, it's unbelievable. You're actually getting in your own way. Maybe just go, hey, maybe Pops does have something to say.
Wow. Wait a second, bro.
Dialogue that has to occur.
Wait.
And have a reason
I gotta hear
to
that
communicate
again.
with his son.
Logan said a couple years ago that he doesn't take any of my advice because he's done more in life than me and he's made more money than me and that there's nothing I can teach him. And I said, Logan, you saying that makes you so stupid, it's
You think he's a narcissist, bro? I'm just saying, like, that felt so, like...
unbelievable. You're actually getting in your own way. Maybe just go, hey, maybe Pops does have something to say.
Ew. His dad seems difficult. His dad seems like a big kid. He seems difficult. Whew. I mean, to be fair, like, obviously there was toxicity. I mean, obviously his dad has been shown over the years to be less than healthy. Yeah, that's interesting. And it is interesting that he works for his kid and he doesn't have something going on in his own life. Like, no matter how successful, even if I became a multimillionaire, like, why would my dad work for me? My dad has his own life. My mom has her own life. They all have their own hobbies. Now, that's not to say it's a blessing, but it does mean that his dad doesn't have his own thing going on. And I think that's interesting. You know what I mean? Don't you think that's interesting? What do you think that says? Because, yeah, like, genuinely, no matter... My family's so independent. We are so fiercely independent. It's insane. None of my siblings want a job. Like, none of us want to work for each other. My dad has a whole ass business, and none of my siblings wanted it. They all want to do their own thing. Like, you want to talk about generational wealth? Like, there could have been a potentiality of that. Not literally, but, you know, everyone always dreams of their parents handing them a business. Pfft, none of my dad's 10 kids wanted it. Not one of my dad's 10 kids wanted his business. Isn't that funny? None of us wanted it. All of us wanted to do our own thing. How crazy is that? Sometimes I look at my siblings and I'm like, why did none of us want this? It's worth money. There's money in this business. I already told him who I think he should give it to. And it's like, it's none of us. It's none of his kids. Isn't that interesting? I think that's so interesting. Depends on what the business is. Oh, the irony is the business is related to like what 3 of my brothers already do. 3 of my brothers do similar business in their own ways. One owns his own company. And, well, I guess one other brother. And one other brother works for somebody else. It's so interesting. But, you know, whatever. It's just kind of interesting. You never know your journey. Villainy says 10. Oh, yeah. My parents have 10 kids. I'm the 3rd oldest of 10 kids. Welcome. 8 boys, 2 girls. That's us, baby.
Your mom said, and this was, I mean, when she was telling me it, I thought it was kind of brutal. She said, you know, you haven't been home for the holidays in at least a couple of years. You didn't get her a Christmas present last year, and you aren't one to do something unless you have a motive, like a vlog, she said.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I can't lie. That's
Okay, first of all, I don't get my mom and dad Christmas gifts either because we're not that kind of family. Feel like that's kind of weird. Also, none of my siblings have been home for the last few holidays either. I called my mom the other day. I was like, are the kids coming home? She goes, no, they're not. And I was like, damn, we really out here just doing our own thing. Things change, especially when you don't have little kids running around. And especially when people are very independent. You do have to keep up those holidays. Like, you have to make a point to do it. I would do it. If I was in California, I would go home for the holidays because I like going to my mom's house for the holidays. The food be popping. I called my mom for Easter and she goes, let me show you what we made. That, you just know you're going to eat so good if you go to my parents' house for the holidays, bro. Not going home for the holidays is crazy. With food prices the way they are, when you know your mom and dad are going to feed you bomb-ass food, bro, that's a crazy financial decision not to go home for the holidays, bro. That's a crazy financial decision to make, you know?
It's been true. I haven't always prioritized family first or second.
Oh, that's his fiance. I like her.
Or even third.
We're all just pushing him to understand you need to make the people in your life who have contributed to you feel felt and appreciated. Because one day you're gonna get a call that—
I think Mike feels much more family oriented than Logan. And I really hope Mike marries a very nice girl, and I hope he has a really nice family. Whether they have kids or not, I really want Mike to end up with a really nice girl.
you weren't expecting to get, that someone that means a lot to isn't here anymore. And you made a YouTube video about filling your pool with Orbeez instead of being with that person who shaped your life.
But then the career work-life balance is a real thing, guys. Work-life balance is a real fucking thing. It's a real fucking thing. Because you do miss out. You do miss out. Even moving. I moved to a different country. I haven't met my youngest nephew. I'm very upset. But also, this is the decision I have made. And I will go see him next year. I'm very upset in some ways. I saw him today. I called the family and I was like, hi. My family lives, actually, my brother lives in a different place than my mom and dad. But I saw the little baby today. He's so cute, guys. He looks just like Farm Brother. He's so cute and so fat. And I'm just like missing out on his first year. But I did make this decision. And it does suck. I really wish I was there. My other brother flew in to Farm Brothers state to go spend time with him for the holidays. But also, you know what I mean? That's what adulting is. It's really interesting the way, let me just tell you this, as a 90s kid, nothing in my adulthood is anything like I thought it would be, because I grew up in the fantasy time of the 90s where you had family get-togethers and extended family and lots of presents and lots of people and lots of, man, the 90s was a vibe. Oh, the nostalgia is hitting me so hard.
When I moved out to Hollywood, I was on a mission that I was sure as hell I was going to complete, and no one was going to get in my way. I was going to do what I set out to do, and that was become the greatest entertainer on the planet. And in that, I think I lost sight of what was actually important in life.
So hopefully,
wow, the mom looks so much like Jake and Logan.
He'll come around, but he's definitely getting better. It's going slower than I'd like to see.
We're doing therapy.
Are we doing
This
therapy?
is therapy, yes. Look at us. This is therapy.
That's not what therapy is. Yo, it's amazing to me how people do not know what therapy is.
Priorities shift depending on where people are at in their lives. I noticed mine shifting. Family is making its way up the ladder.
I have a gift for you, Jake. I feel like it's a toy of some sort.
Wait, when I went like that, I almost said it feels like a penis.
Mom, put it down, Mom.
Penis.
Mom, put it down, Mom. Jesus Christ. You're on television.
Discord says this is a financial decision. Absolutely no emotion or nostalgia involved whatsoever, bro. Yeah, so if he never comes home for the holidays, is he only coming home for the holidays this time around for the documentary, which he thinks is going to be on Apple TV, but it's actually just going to be on YouTube?
Television.
You're not on television. You're on YouTube.
No, stop, Mother. You're going to regret it when you're sober.
The 2022 holiday season was the first as a couple for Logan and his girlfriend, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model Nina Agdal. The two started dating in June after meeting at an event in New York City.
Has a PDA been this way since day one?
When we were first dating, Graham, no. She'd try to kiss me in public, and I'd be like, you know, like keep it light. And then all of a sudden, I started kissing her a little more in public, and now No tongue twisting in a Bugatti Beppo.
Really always happy and content. And just really, you're real sweet. You know, you and me, you come up and you touch me more and stuff. And
She served me into a softie.
yeah, that's it.
Essentially, what we did this week was like hometowns.
Yeah.
Like, you know, on The Bachelor, when they do hometowns? I went to Denmark, and then we flew here, and now she's doing my hometown.
So how do you do?
How do you do?
Yeah.
Great.
I didn't get to meet her dad.
No?
That was the big.
Why not?
I had a bit of a mental breakdown one night, and I was in a pretty dark spot.
And dark means what for you?
For the first time in my life, I was having like suicidal thoughts. I was spiraling, Graham. I'm just crying, just
The way he calls him Graham is kind of making me twitch.
sobbing.
I've myself dealt with a lot of mental health issues, so I've definitely been in the same position, if not even worse. And like, I just was just there to support him, remind him that like, this is gonna pass, and we're gonna be okay, and whatever it is, we're gonna figure it out.
I felt weak, which is like uncommon for me. I'm supposed to be like the leader.
But you're human.
I know. At the end of the day, yes, I am.
Made out of the
The leader of who, bro?
same thing.
I know, but I feel like I have a.
You know what would help with this? Therapy, real therapy. Therapy is not just talking about your feelings, guys. I don't know who said that in the chat, but yeah, it's not just talking about your feelings, guys. Okay?
Responsibility to like, be tough.
How did you get through it?
We took a moment to breathe. That didn't work.
Yeah.
Then
Wow, I'm gonna kill Graham for his shit documentary style with his shit audio, bro.
I had some anti-anxiety and panic disorder medication, which, you know, eventually returned to.
I mean, I guess that's the answer, bro. I took her anti-anxiety medication.
But I mean, I knew we were gonna get through it. It was just.
Did-
Wow. Wow. People will do everything but face themselves. People will do everything but face themselves.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, it's a matter of, I just needed you to sleep.
I couldn't sleep
Yeah,
though.
it's
That
like
was the
number
issue.
one.
Everyone's like, "Yo, you have to sleep. You have to sleep." And I couldn't sleep. And still, right now, I'm having trouble sleeping. I sleep like 2 hours a night right now.
Okay, also, I think I confused the mom for the grandma. Is this the grandma? Oh my gosh, the grandma looks so much like the boys, too. I think the grandma and the mom, I mixed them up for a second. I'm so sorry. I confused the white ladies for each other, but I did. But it makes sense because it looks like they look like each other.
This is horrible. Christmas is ruined.
Did they burn it on purpose for the documentary?
Earlier that day, Logan peeled back on the cause of those
Earlier that day, Logan peeled back.
restless nights.
I think my manager Jeff of 8 years, and who I consider like family, essentially like friend, may have worked together with the con man that we hired for a project and stole a couple $1 million from our fans. I cried last night, bro.
Did you?
And stole a couple $100,000. What, from fans?
Because it's the con man that we hired for a project and stole a couple $1 million from our fans.
Is he saying that's the cryptocurrency?
I cried last night, bro.
Did you?
Because it's not just a business betrayal. I love this man.
The project is CryptoZoo.
Oh, he is. He's saying CryptoZoo. Oh, stop. Oh, he's saying CryptoZoo scam people out of money. He's putting it on the guy, not on himself, which might be true. It just says British So Content Brain. Did they set fire for the video? Hey. In my defense, we are talking about Logan Paul.
A game conceived by Logan in early 2021 where people could hatch and breed hybrid NFT animals. Excited players poured in their money, but the game never worked upon launch. That led to an investigation from popular
CoffeeZilla
YouTuber CoffeeZilla, who had just released a series of videos calling CryptoZoo a scam.
Blockchain evidence shows $7.7 million was stolen by Logan's team, depending on who you believe.
I'm watching these videos because I don't know what happened with CryptoZoo. I was kept behind the scenes the whole time while Jeff was like figuring out with the team. I know me. I'm not a scammer. I would never scam anyone. I don't have to, and also B, like, I'm hyper cognizant that I'm only in the position that I'm in because of my fans. I made this game with the purest of intentions, but the people that we put in place to create it, this guy named Eddie and an advisor we had named Jake.
To be fair, they both look like shit, bro. I don't trust neither of them.
Both turned out to be...
It would be really shitty of Logan to go after his fans, you know? But then another part of me doesn't know. I mean, we can never know until we know.
Lying scumbags. Both of those people were put in those positions by Jeff.
And you thought about parting ways with them amid the Japan video stuff and decided
do you know about that?
Stick with them. Yeah.
So multiple times, I almost dropped Jeff.
Now he's confronting him once again in a time of crisis.
On camera? Oh, I guess he's with Logan for 5 months. So this guy's been traveling with Logan for 5 months.
He told me I couldn't say anything because Eddie was being investigated by the FBI and that was confidential information. It's all over the internet. I've been let on for a year, bro. I've also asked you to audit the contract for the game and see where the money went so many times, and that never happened either. Do you see how this looks?
I see how it looks.
What did you do?
Tried to help to get the project done.
I tried to help you get the project done?
That's all I did.
I think there's a piece of information being left out.
Okay. Well, there's no information that I'm not telling you.
Okay. I'll call you later, peace. Maybe he's not a criminal. I want to believe him so bad. He sounds genuine to me.
Christmas Eve in Cleveland. Short while into us getting there, he's like, I think Jeff stole $2 million. Then by the end of the day, he's like, everything's fine, Jeff and I are good. I'm curious your thoughts on how he processes
My bad.
just something negative.
He's fast in what he does, right? For the good and the bad. It's almost binary. It's, he'll dive into one side or the other, and 95% of the time it's full positivity, energy, life. So it's tough when it goes full dive into the other 5%.
How do you handle it?
The truth is the truth. The truth will always come out. So I'm not hiding, and it's easy to be able to speak when it's truth.
Logan can sometimes fall victim to outsiders in his ear. It's one of his unfortunate traits. He'll get a sniff of something and he'll run with it. He never even explained to me like where he got that intel or like where in his brain that came from. But he called me and told me, and I was like, I don't think that's true, man.
I mean, it would make sense that Logan would be slightly paranoid, right?
After a class action lawsuit was filed against Logan, Jeff, and the CryptoZoo team, a private jet ride back to Puerto Rico gave us a quiet moment to talk further.
The CryptoZoo saga is far from over because it was a one-sided story. He told it how he wanted to tell it, and told it a certain way that made me look like the captain of this ship.
He doesn't seem to see anything wrong with advertising a game that will make you money, it never delivering, millions of dollars being stolen by criminals he hired. And then when all of those people want their money back, he feels like he's the scapegoat.
Because his argument was, you're Logan Paul, And because of the exposure that you brought, this venture led people to lose money.
Everything you just said has an element of truth to it. Here's the problem. What you just described isn't a scam. I took on a project that I was simply incapable of handling at the time. By the time this comes out, it'll be done. The game's gonna be made. You're gonna have the opportunity to get your money back if you want, and I'm gonna take care of the people who made me look like this was a scam perpetrated by me. I didn't make any f***ing money, bro. I've lost $500,000 on this. Where's the scam? These internet journalists, internet investigative reporters have way too much responsibility on their hands.
Hey. Do not put Asmon in that clip. Why was Asmon Gold there?
Internet investigative reporters have...
Okay, first of all, Asmon is not. Charlie is not. This guy sometimes pretends he is. Okay, CoffeeZilla does annoy me, though. CoffeeZilla does... I think YouTube journalism is dangerous, but I think all journalism is shitty because everyone's bought by somebody. But I'm not the biggest fan of CoffeeZilla. It feels a little too self-righteous. Again, I don't trust people who are self-righteous because they make me feel very like the priest who swears he's not deleting kids. It feels a little too self-righteous to me. So I don't love him. But I also know that I believe Logan would do whatever it would take to make money, even if it was unethical, I think. But then why didn't he make any money off this? Like, why did he spend so much time doing it if it didn't make money? But then a part of me knows he's worth more than this, so he could pay back a couple $1 million with his own money if he wanted to. But then I don't trust anyone he's really associated with. So then I'm wondering, like, why would he do this if it didn't make him money? And I remember pre-watching Logan at the time, and he was, like, really excited for CryptoZoo. But then it came out, and I was like, this is what you were excited about? But then I wonder, like, did he actually just, like, take on too much than he could handle? I don't know. But I don't like CoffeeZilla's reporting personally. But, like, that's just me. That's me. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying anything about CoffeeZilla, the human. I don't know anything about him. And I don't trust a lot of the YouTube, like, journalists because I feel like, why aren't you just giving your opinion? But then I'm not going to put it past Logan Paul to maybe engage in activity that I think is, like, not the most ethical. But, like, why wouldn't he do something that guaranteed some money to some extent? Because, like, a scam is different. A scam is giving someone something that they didn't pay for. Lots of people think, oh, your OnlyFans is a scam. I didn't even see vagina. That's not what a scam is. A scam isn't signing up for something and wanting something out of it that you want. The scam is, did he offer you something that he didn't deliver on, which is different, right? I would be shocked if Logan genuinely didn't make money off CryptoZoo. Well, how would he have made money off something that he's being sued for? I don't buy that for a second. There's no way he made money off CryptoZoo. He has to pay all those people back. Right? Like, he has to pay those people back. And so, like, he's not going to make money off CryptoZoo. All the lawyers and all the money that's going into this, there's no way he made money off it. I couldn't even assume how he did make money off of it. If he made money off of it like he did Prime, he'd be bragging about it. You know what I mean? It makes no sense.
Have way too much responsibility on their hands that is being mismanaged and wielded in a really inappropriate way.
His argument would probably be the same goes for you too.
Of course. He's right.
What responsibility do you feel for what happened?
I put way too much trust in bad people to run a project that I really cared about. That's where I up.
How's the relationship with Jeff?
Fine. We'll see how he fares when all this is said and done. I'm not sure if it'll be positive.
There have been points where you've talked about parting ways before. Why do you think the relationship has been able to continue for so long?
I think he realizes that I truthfully care about him. There's not many people in the world that truthfully care about you.
Jeff has been very instrumental in teaching him to pump the brakes. He has been a dummy a number of times, but he is a very good person. And Logan especially requires perfection. And it's very hard to live up to.
I mean, I love Jeff, but there were definitely errors and mishaps that happened. I think as a result of his actions and for mine. But we'll see. I don't know.
And Cleveland, I mean, you've dropped some heavy.
Somebody's lying. They're probably all lying, if I'm going to be honest, but someone's fucking up. The question is it all of them or some of them?
On us. What are your reflections on that period now, looking back?
I'm so blessed that I have Nina in my life. This girl got thrown into one of the most convoluted, fast-paced, otherworldly lifestyles that she is unfamiliar with. And she's there by my side all the time.
What's my niece? Absolutely
I think I'm a difficult person to be with. Nina would tell you the opposite, because she thinks I'm incredibly easy to be with, but I think that's probably why I'm with her.
And what do you think caused you guys to hit it off?
We're kind of the same person. She makes sense to me. Like, I can understand her. I find myself very lucky to be with her. And I don't know if I've really felt like that before.
Honestly, she kind of looks like his mom. I think they're really good together. I really hope this is a good relationship for him. She's successful on her own. She's worth a lot of money. She's established. I hope he's a good person to her. I hope they're both really good to each other, genuinely. But I do think they match a lot. I think there's something really cohesive. We watched their engagement video on stream when it happened. They're really cute together. I really hope they're good to each other, you know?
I had this, I told you, this like version, a little boy, your son, just running around with like hair down
Would it be
here.
our son or would it just be my son?
It would be your
Just
son.
I made him myself. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it would be our son. Our son.
I got this from Etsy. I had it embossed, custom Why I Love You. And then I printed a bunch of Polaroids that are just memories of her and I. And I'm gonna put a reason why I love her underneath each one. Oh, it's already ruined. Oh, I ruined it. Oh, this is gonna take
Logan is like an artsy, crafty boy.
forever. If I don't marry this girl, I'm gonna look so stupid.
How many of these do you have?
60.
Oh my god, the next few weekends are gonna be insane. Got my birthday. Then you fly to LA.
Yeah.
Then you have your birthday and WrestleMania.
Yay! Cute.
Age 27 for Logan ends in Los Angeles. It's fitting that the hub of the entertainment industry plays host to the 2023 edition of WWE's marquee event, and the man aspiring to be the world's biggest entertainer.
This is one of the two biggest matches of your career so far?
Yeah. I try not to just think about it. I try to just be super present. Anticipating it too much can be incredibly draining, so I'm not gonna do that.
Is the whole family gonna be there?
Dude, whole family, nearly all my friends. We got like 70 people coming.
Bro, get a crash pad and get your ass in here.
I'm a Forex splash you.
Just brace for impact. This is practice for me too.
Great.
I haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. You did kind of nail me in the nuts.
I don't think I fully appreciated what you were doing because I didn't know what the move was
Frog
until
splash.
you're like in the air coming
Frog
down
splash.
on me and I'm like, oh
You wanna see the move tomorrow I have to?
Yeah, sure.
I got a land that I'm nervous about.
That was good.
Well, yeah, in the match.
What Star says, I just Googled his age and his birthday is today. Is he 29 today? Because I want to understand where this documentary took place. Because if this is when he was 27, so is this a year old, this documentary?
You don't have that, obviously, so I cannot understand how that.
So that was the one thing I learned when I came into WWE. When the mat wasn't bouncy, like I thought, I said, "Hey guys, where are the bouncy mats like on TV?" They said there are no bouncy mats like on TV. It's hard, plywood. So in real life, a fall like that and all of these bumps like hurt pretty bad. But man, when there's 80,000 people watching, they hurt much less.
No. I could never. This is so much physical. Oh my God, I could never. You know that goth mommy in the wrestling community? She just did a podcast on Logan Paul's Impulsive. I want to watch it. But the goth mommy.
Hey.
Oh yeah, he was born on April Fool's. Wait, I know that because he did an interview about it. What did he say about it? He said something like, he always knew his whole life would be kind of a mess because he was born on April Fool's. Something like that. I just had a flashback to something I've heard him say about it.
Nice to meet you. So, what are you guys talking about right now?
I think you just came for the thing, yeah?
Came to see you fly?
To see When I did WrestleMania last year, I said, hey, can I zip line in? They said, kid, calm down. Why don't you get a match first? So this year I asked again.
3, 2, 1.
I can't imagine what that'll be like with 60,000 people looking at you.
More than that.
That's insane.
How did it feel?
So good, smooth.
Check out the video of the Trons, please.
I want to do a deep dive on the wrestling bubble, but I think I'm going to get copyrighted for a lot of the content. But apparently some people in my audience really, really love it, and they think it's really interesting. And I've never really explored it. I mean, I played the games as a kid, but I never really explored it. And so I think this would be interesting one day, but I'm afraid of the copyright stuff.
My childhood dreams are coming true.
Did you hear that when Triple H first heard that you were interested in the WWE that he left?
Yeah, he told me to my face. I'm sure he thought there's no way this internet kid can hang with the toughness and very complex nature of this sport.
There's so many people that we get that come in and go, yeah, man, I'd love to do that. It sounds very simple until you actually get to go do it. And then, you know, once we got into it and I saw him, saw what he could do, but also saw his dedication to
No way, bro. Seems tough, and they don't have a union.
doing it, right? That's a game changer to me. He earned my respect right out the chute with it.
I think I'm much more
I am not in shape enough to do this.
capable than people think. I work my ass off and I can endure a lot.
You underestimated wrestling's difficulty.
Yeah.
How so?
It is the hardest thing I've ever done. I've just never had to think about using so many skills at once. Storytelling, physicality, toughness, memorization, sheer capability.
What conversations have the two of you had with regards to character stuff?
Just being who you are, finding that thing that you're amplifying.
His real personality is what makes him the influencer and the celebrity that he is, right? Like, it's just him. Maybe he does some on the internet that's a bit more than he would do in his personal life, I don't know. But it's sort of an amplified version of yourself. This is the same in some level. And if you're not authentic with them, if you're putting on a front for them, they don't buy it. And when you let them in emotionally now, they can care for you. Whether it's hate you, love you, whatever that is, if it's real to them, it's real.
How are you?
2023. Okay. So this was literally a year ago. This is on his birthday. This is April 1st. So this was actually literally 12 months ago.
It's your birthday.
April 1st, yeah. No my cosmic joke.
So what do you think of
Oh, it's John Cena.
Logan?
I wish we found him years ago.
Really?
I think this would be his calling. I'm glad he's found us because he fits perfectly in what we do.
All right, so, John Cena. He's pretty great.
Did you see that John Cena was in an episode of Scooby-Doo?
Dig it!
How are your guys' nerves for an event like
I'm not
tonight?
really nervous. I hope he hits all of his big parts without needing that neck brace they brought in.
I'm nervous the entire time. Like, my number one thing is, like, don't get injured. So it's the last thing I say to him. Like, tuck your chin, remember all the safety protocols. Like, for me, it's scary.
I'm really just here to watch the fans argue with each
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people there.
other.
And boo.
Yeah, and boo and get mad because to me that's more fun.
I gotta go. I'm up next.
Let's go.
cartoon character.
No, it's exciting watching the emotion. What's going through your mind?
I'm excited. I'm probably the most pumped I've been.
Yeah, Livy says, I hate to admit this, but I kind of get why Logan is attractive. He's got dumb boy energy. Like, he'd be fun to get drunk and go steal a road sign with. Yeah, like, it's hard for me not to like Logan because he just feels like so little bro, but he also just feels like so not malicious. And so that's why I'm always like, did he scam people? Or is it like, is there confusion here? Like, and again, this is all for the media. Again, there's so much more going on, but it doesn't, there's not a lot of maliciousness. There's no maliciousness in his energy. There is a calculation, but I'm not going to say that's necessarily bad because like that's content creator stuff. But I'm not sensing a lot of maliciousness from Logan. And I'm not saying you can't be like, I don't know, like he just doesn't feel, he feels very aware that a camera's on him, but not cruel. He doesn't feel cruel, but I don't know what that means, you know? I'm going to be so mad if he cheats on her. I'm going to be so mad if he cheats on her. I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to Oh, I'm going to be so annoyed.
For a match.
But keep in mind, Logan does not have a history of scamming people. That's why I think it would be really weird if he ended up scamming people with on purpose. You know, I think that would be annoying to me because he's never done that. He's never had to. I mean, you might call it a scam. Ooh, question. Do you consider it a scam? His virality, like going viral on YouTube by like doing the colorblind thing. Like, oh, I'm colorblind. Do you guys think, because I don't think that's a scam. I think that's just YouTube. Like, that's just what YouTube is, you know? So I don't know. Kinder says I don't get maliciousness, but I do get a lack of care from him. I do sense a lack of morals or like deep-seated empathy, maybe. I do feel he feels like I'm not sure what he believes. I'm not convinced he knows what he believes. I know Logan feels like someone who knows exactly what he wants, but I'm not sure he knows why, if that makes sense. You know? Yeah, I'm not sure if he knows why. Sign says he feels more safe than most of the people we talk about here. I mean, damn. You know? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Sometimes I'm nervous. Sometimes, I don't know, I don't maybe want to be in there 100%. I'm ready.
Wait, Milk says CryptoZoo, Logan scammed before. What did he scam before of CryptoZoo? I've never heard anyone accuse him of scamming except for CryptoZoo. Did I miss something? Like recently? Like, did he scam doing something else? What do you know? Tell me. Because I've never been enough of a fan to watch Logan. But I've only been keeping track of him loosely over the years. I've never heard of him scamming except for specifically CryptoZoo.
Yeah.
I'm physically ready. I'm mentally ready. I feel good.
Spooky says, I feel like he makes all of his decisions with a hint of emotional detachment. Okay. I agree that he's slightly detached from the decision, but he's very emotional about it. I feel like Logan does cry himself to sleep at night. I think he's very emotional, but when he makes a decision, he tries to be very objective, and I think it's fucking him up. I think he's not cohesively in his thinking or in his emotions. He's not symbiotically living within the two. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You got this.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. Hey, hopefully I win, right?
Okay, you guys keep saying he's done a few scams. What were the scams? I just don't know. What were the scams? Because that's the only one I've ever heard of. But what are even a scam? Like, what's a scam? Again, I like Asmon's definition of a scam is like you're paying for something they didn't deliver. Like, it's not what you paid for. You paid for something like completely different than you paid for. Like when you order stuff on Amazon and the shirt comes out looking very different than the picture, is that a scam? You know?
Best advice I've ever heard.
Yes, just as he seems very emotional, but with a desire not to be. Yeah. CoffeeZilla, that's one scam, guys. CoffeeZilla has videos on both shitcoins he was involved in. That's one scam. That's one era of Logan. That's one specific thing. And CoffeeZilla, I do not trust his reporting, in my opinion. And I know, like, everyone loves him, but I don't trust him. No offense. You know, he might be right, but I don't like him as a source. You know? Sign says he has a legacy mindset. I agree with that. Yeah. Dink doing crypto thing before crypto. Guys, those aren't scams. Like, doing the crypto stuff was just what everyone was doing in that bubble. If that's a scam, then anything entrepreneurs try is a scam. You got to give me a scam is a very specific thing. It's with the intent of stealing money from your clients without delivering a product. Crypto, some people think all of crypto is a scam. Are you saying everything crypto is a scam? You know, because a scam, again, a scam is a very specific definition. I'm only being anal about it because I want to know if he actually intentionally scammed people. Okay? So I want to know, because like some people think all crypto is a scam, but everybody was doing crypto during that era. Everybody and their mom. So like you can't call all of crypto a scam. Some people literally just believe in it. Some people don't. Some people are just here to make money. Okay. I want to know.
Consider yourself a role model?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I do now.
We should watch the CoffeeZilla videos and refresh our memories. Hades says he was pretending not to even know what it was in order to sell it to his audience and then rug pulled once the investment. Oh, I think I do remember that actually. Wait. Yeah. The pump and dump, but that's what everyone was doing. Okay, so then the question is, how do you feel about that? Right? Because I agree with you that that's really fucked up. You know? I think a pump and dump is fucked up. If we're counting that as a scam, I do think that's unethical. Everyone does it though. That's what's so interesting is people do that. But I do think that's shitty to do that. So I agree with you there. Yeah, I agree that pumps and dumps are definitely scams. Why do people do that? People are so shitty. I do agree with that. Okay, I agree. I think I do remember that now. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, that's really shitty.
Have I wanted to be one? Always no.
Okay. I agree with you. That's a scam. Let's go into Logan's mindset. Everyone is doing it around you. Like Martha Stewart, like shorting her stocks or like leaving the stock. She went to prison for it. But also, like, no one's going to think much about her because it's just like what everyone does. So I agree with you that that's really unethical. But don't you think it's interesting how they normalize it in the bubble? Don't you think that part is interesting? I'm not saying it's okay. I agree with you. But isn't that interesting? You know? Don't you think that's really interesting? I think that's really interesting.
It was after Japan that I realized that whether I liked it or not, I was a role model. Because like it's undeniable that children and young people are watching my stuff and are going to look to me as some sort of example. Do you think at any point in my career I stood on a pedestal and said, "Do as I do"? No, dog. I was like, I am discovering everything with you in real time for the entire world to watch and judge. And only this year have I finally realized who the f I am.
Why this year?
I stopped living for everyone else.
Did he though? Did he though?
And in that, I found out so much about myself and about what I love and what makes me happy and how I feel fulfilled.
Okay. Hades says it is weird. I wonder the mindset around justifying that to yourself and your peers. Okay, I do think this is what 2As do, and I could be wrong. But when I think of a 2A and what a 2A is, and it's not necessarily always this, but a specific category of 2A, if you guys don't know what I'm referencing my level system, links down below. 2As, I think, have an extrospection journey with the world where they really realize like none of this matters. Like we're literally floating on a rock in space. But instead of being a nihilist, a 2 nihilist, okay, I'm talking about categories now, a 2 nihilist that becomes depressed and goes like, fuck it, nothing matters. They become like an entrepreneurial, like doggy world. Like it's whatever the fuck matter. Like winning is all that matters. So 2As tend to be like people who reach for like the money because they want the legacy, but they want the stability because all of this is bullshit. So there's like, I feel like he's playing this 2-level game but doesn't have a moral compass, like an ideology, which would make him like a 2B, 2C. He has more of an understanding that like none of this fucking matters. And if nothing matters, then why not fucking scam every single person on the planet? Why not do it? Why not play the entrepreneur game? Why not play the hemp game? Why not play the newspaper game? Why not play any game that all these legacy industries played in order to become generational wealth people? Now you would say, oh, because it's morally wrong. Why is it morally wrong if you believe nothing matters? Because nothing does matter. But then the question is, if you recognize like you're a living creature on the planet, right? And you hold on to an ideology, let's say a God. So you're going to be a 2B and you're going to have an ideology mixed in with morals that are given to you with like these 10 commandments or whatever. Fine. Or you go to a 4-5, you become a 5 on my level system, which is like a realization like, oh, nothing matters. But then everything kind of matters, or maybe nothing matters in that sense, but like you are just like an organism flying through the universe. How beautiful is that, bro? And then you have like this whole deep kind of profound relationship with it, but it usually doesn't allow you to do legacy crypto scam stuff because it's too antithetical to like this sense of goodness in self, you know? Haiti says just a general lack of empathy. I think to some extent that's true. I think in order to be like a 2A, I do think you have a specific lack of empathy, but I don't think you're without the ability to empathize, which is why you have family and friends and people you care about. But I do think you have a limited supply of empathy, and it's very specific, you know? Brooke says, when you say nothing matters, are you talking about pointlessness? No. When I say nothing matters, I mean I'm talking about an inherent lack of reasoning that we're here on the planet. So I believe we're like living organisms in the universe. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in inherent purpose. I don't believe in an objective morality. I don't think we have any evidence to think that there's an inherent reason we're here, therefore a duty that we have. So I think everything that we do comes from a construct of perception. So then I think everyone builds off that concept of like construct of perception, which then is given to us through like legacy and history and genetics and all of these other things. And now we're here. Like we're living history, right? Like we are living history. People are going to look back on us and think, oh, this is what this part of the civilization did here and there, right? So then in order to argue that things matter, they have to matter through your perception. So Logan's life matters to him. His life matters to him so greatly. He is one of the most successful people on the planet. That's how much his life matters. But only because I think, and this is a theory, I don't know this man, he's realized nothing matters. But only in a 2A sense. So I think you get stuck when you're a 2 in this nihilistic sense that nothing matters. So you kind of either decide to give up on life or become the most successful no matter what, no matter who gets hurt. And I think there's like a 2B sense where you're not a nihilist, but you actually are religious, or you have a belief in some greater good, or you become sort of politically motivated. And then you fix like your life on an ideology. See, Logan doesn't have an ideology. Logan doesn't believe anything. I don't think Logan, from any interview I've ever seen of him, he doesn't believe in an ideology. He doesn't have a belief system. He just thinks probably that like nothing matters, so he's going to get the most out of it. And to him, for a person who doesn't have a sense of morals or sense of like conduct code or an ideology, usually that thing is going to be success, right? And so in some ways, he's rationally and reasonably justified in his actions. Because fuck it, we're all going to die. No one's going to remember us. Your life doesn't fucking matter. Your life cannot inherently matter. And yet, I think on some profound spiritual level, in a metaphysical sense, our lives are all just like working energy within the universe and sort of matter in that spiritual way. But if you don't care about the metaphysical, if you don't care about your energy being valuable to the universe, like you don't matter, bro. And so like, I think there's some reasonable, logical justification for Logan doing what he's doing. In the same way, it's really logical and rational for people to kill themselves if they think there's no reason to live. But it's not fully rational because it doesn't have all of the information. But most people are not making decisions on all of the information. We're all making decisions on partial information that lead us to partial answers, which is why I say, like, spend time with yourself, spend time with your consciousness. Know why you want to exist, not why the world continues to tell you to exist. Why do you want to exist? Why do you want to enjoy life? Why do you want to have this relationship with life? Because the world is only going to give you the answers they understand through their constructs. And then if you belong to a group, the group is going to give you the responsibility of the answer to yourself. But I don't think it's outside of reason, like logic and reason, to come to the conclusion, like, if you believe in evolution and we're animals on a planet, oh yeah, like, why wouldn't you just get the best out of it and leave the legacy to your kids? You know? So I do think in some ways, like, religion is supposed to teach you to choose God over money, which I think inherently is better for your society because it means you're valuing life outside of your ego, and you're less likely probably to scam people or mistreat people, hopefully, because of religion. But when you deconstruct from a religion, you have to recreate your values, and that's a little bit more difficult. And then, given Logan's upbringing, he didn't even start with those things in the first place. Look at his parents, you know? Science says, I believe he does things before thinking them fully through and doesn't attach emotions and morals in doing the face. However, he has the ability to moralize it afterwards when things turn out bad. I see a little bit of that for sure. Sage says, yeah, he says he has brain damage from football that they think impacts his empathy. I wouldn't be surprised, right? I wonder if he could logic his way to empathy, though. He can logic his way out of it for sure. I wonder if he could logic his way into it. You know?
For 5 months, we've had a front row seat to the life of Logan Paul. It's not surprising that the once goofy kid with a camcorder and boundless energy found his calling as an entertainer. But the journey he took to get there is. We saw how Logan's non-stop pace can cause its share of problems, as well as the longing to find peace. We also found
This man don't want no peace. Bro, this man want the opposite of peace, right? Okay, can we get a person to go in there and actually go through his finances? Because I want to know about CryptoZoo too. I really want to know about that.
a decent, generously accessible, bona fide star. While his redemption arc has, at times, been challenged, what is clear from our time together is Logan Paul is only just getting started as he enters.
That's an interesting shot. I think it's interesting that he ended on a shot where Logan's getting fucked over, bruh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Haley says, I think he was made for the WWE. That makes so much sense for him. Yeah, he gets to play, act, and like tell a story and sensationalize himself. I think the WWE makes a lot of sense for Logan.
I'm not in on it. Happy birthday, dear Logan. Happy birthday to you.
Way to celebrate a birthday. Yeah. And a great way to end your documentary.
That is true.
Love you, Graham. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. I got you.
Shortly following his loss to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, Paul re-signed with the WWE on a multi-year deal. This is spooky music. He and Nina are now engaged. Paul proposed in July of 2023 after 1 year of dating. We watched that video on stream. Prime continues to expand, partnering with LA Lakers, LA Dodgers, and NFL star Patrick Mahomes. In January 2024, Logan filed the lawsuit against Eduardo Ibanez and Jake Greenbaum for their roles in CryptoZoo. January 2024. Logan has committed more than $2.3 million out of pocket to buy back NFTs from players. Jeff Levin still serves as his manager. In interesting. Okay. Now, to give some context to this channel, he has 800,000 subscribers. Like I said, he initially reached out to Logan to say, hey, can you do this video on, or I want to do this documentary of you for Apple TV or whatever. And Logan thought that's what it was for, but it was actually for his YouTube channel, which Logan is pretty frustrated by. But, okay, hold on. Homepage. Okay, but look at this. He's got Killer Mike. Okay, Misty Copeland. I only know a few of these people. That's why I'm reading their names out. He's got an interview with Bert Kreischer. He's got an interview with, oh, wait. Yeah, Russell Simmons. He's got interesting, like, connections. Josh Jamal. Oh, that's weird. But he's got interesting connections. So it's something. But it is interesting, the idea of, like, getting Logan Paul to do this interview thinking it would be on TV. And it's not on TV. I also think I know Graham's face, but I can't remember where we might have seen him. I don't know if we watched his videos on stream or not. But what did you guys think? Overall, it was good. I would like to know more about CryptoZoo. I think it's interesting that he is suing people. I think that will be interesting to see where it goes. I hope he isn't a scammer, but I also know that he's in a bubble that I wouldn't put it past people to scam people out of money, like Andrew Tate. I think what Andrew Tate does is scamming. I also think, like, it's borderline. See, a lot of people use that word scamming, but I don't think that's actually the right word. I think Andrew Tate does scam the women in his life. But if you put out, like, what's it called? Course. Everyone's like, courses are scams. Courses aren't scams if you don't know what a course is. Or if you do know what a course is. I think a course can only be a scam in the way that signing up for the gym. Like, if you ever go to the gym, guys, I remember I went to the gym and they were like, if you sign up, no, I'll give a better example because I'm not that good at it. A guy I knew went to the gym and they convinced him to sign up for 3 years, even though they know statistically he's not going to come back to the gym. But they got him to sign up for like $1,000, $2,000. I remember it was like over $1,000. And I remember thinking, why'd you sign this deal? And he's like, it will motivate me to go to the gym. But I know for a fact, those people at the gym know nobody comes back. I swear most of those people make most of their money getting people to sign up for deals that they know they're never going to fulfill. And I think that's kind of shitty. I know it's not a scam, but I do think it's kind of shitty. And what it is, it's playing on people's insecurities and people's desire to be a better future self. And so I wouldn't do it, but I can see why people do it. I can see why the gym does convince people to sign up 3-year contracts that I know they can't afford, but it's like, also, this is the lesson in life you have to learn in a way, and you got to kind of have to learn it. And I think that's how I think of most business. I think of most business in the world as like, you know, people aren't going to read the back of the box. Like, you know, when you sell these health drinks and health foods, people aren't going to read the ingredients. And you know, in America, you get away with like health foods in a way that like it's not healthy for you. So I agree that I wouldn't do it. But if you're in that bubble and that's how everyone does everything, a part of your brain really does assimilate to the bubble. And so a part of me is lenient on people, I think, in the bubble because they don't think of themselves as scamming. That's not how their brain processes it. And we only process it because we're in this bubble where that's how we think about it. But also, can I say something very judgmental of my past self and people like me? How many people are independent artists and are absolutely, I wouldn't say scamming, but they're not creating art in the most ethical way? Like, how do I say this? I kind of do feel like if you got famous off fan fiction, you're kind of stealing. And I do kind of think that if you draw a picture of somebody that isn't an original character of yours, you're kind of stealing. But I also don't care if you steal. Does that make sense? Like, I don't care if you make all your money like drawing fan porn of like anime characters. But I also kind of think that if you couldn't make it on your own, and I'm not sure whoever does anyways, that you're not kind of stealing. But also, I think like that's not what really stealing is. And so I agree it's not stealing, but I kind of think it's stealing. In the same way that I think like making reaction content isn't stealing, but it's like kind of like You know what I mean? Like, it's not stealing, but it's also not scamming, but it's also is, but it also isn't. You know what I mean? Ingrid, you're saying fair use. I'm trying to make a point. That if that's fair use, which I agree, I'd rather live in that world where we can all use each other's art to make more art, then selling something to somebody that's packaged pretty is kind of like fair game. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like I'm not convinced people care. And I think people sometimes hold people accountable more than they hold themselves accountable as consumers. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make a one-to-one, but I'm trying to give an example of like, I'm not sure my brain follows the logic. You know? I don't get what you mean. It's stealing, but not stealing. Well, everything is, but isn't. Everything is, but isn't. You know? Like, if you go to, like, okay, sexual assault is sexual assault if you touch someone without verbal consent, according to some college campuses in California. Well, then everyone's sexually assaulting everyone, so no one's sexually assaulting anyone. If I was doing some research on sexual assault, and in the state of California, I think it's University of California. I need to double check which university, but their grounds, like their definition of sexual assault was any unwanted touch or physical like touch that wasn't verbally consented to begin with. Well, then everyone's sexually assaulting everyone, but then no one's sexually assaulting anyone. Definitions are constructs, right? So if we're going to define something a certain way, we all have to agree on the definition for that to be the case. Which is why, again, like if you had LimeWire as a kid and you were downloading music, is it stealing? Yes, but no, but yes. I don't consider it stealing, but of course it's by definition stealing. Do you get what I'm saying? But how am I going to throw somebody in jail for LimeWire? If you share certain videos on like streaming, or if you share your Netflix account with some people, that might be considered stealing in some retrospective way, but I can't think of it as stealing. So when we define words and what is stealing and what isn't stealing, I think there's something to be said about how we have conversations. What is something and what isn't something? I think it's a construct. And I think we have to agree as a society, or parts of society, because not every part of society is real, what is something? So we know what something is. But how would you know what something is unless we all agree to what it is? And then you have bad characters and people that want to change it and people want to live in a different world. So things are things without things. If a military soldier kills an innocent person in a different country, is that murder or is that war? It's like kind of murder, but it's also not kind of murder, but also it's kind of murder, but also it's not kind of murder. If a woman aborts a baby, is that murder or is that kind of not murder, but it's kind of murder, but it's not really murder? You know, I just think like everything is nothing is nothing. So then the question is, well, what universe do I want to live in? What society do I want to live in? Like, I would like to live in a world where we acknowledge all ending of life is an ending of life. But then we can decide to which extent we have a relationship with that ending of life, right? I would like to live in a world where like abortion is acknowledging we're ending a life and we're having that relationship with it. And maybe we'd get to the point where we never even have to think about it. You know what I mean? Like we never even have to have an abortion because we have the right things in order to avoid those abortions. Or maybe, you know, I want to be able to eat meat, but still like thank you and blessings to the animal that sacrificed their life by force and gave me like the circle of life, right? It's like I want to acknowledge that I'm killing an animal and still eat the animal and still have the dignity around that animal. Like Muslims and some Catholics, my brother in particular, they pray over an animal to be slaughtered as a way to like show dignity to the animal. And I think that's much better, but also completely unnecessary if you realize we're like animals on a planet too. The bear doesn't pray over the fish before it eats it. You know? Milk says, does that mean that a person like a film critic would also be stealing even though you're creating arguably a new product? Well, I don't know about a film critic. Well, do you mean a film critic that watches the movie and then comments on it? Or do you mean a film critic that writes about it? Right? Livy says, like, I saw mom stealing baby food from Walmart. I'm not going to say shit. It's not my business. I hope they feed that baby. But Amazon wage theft, I'm pissed about it. Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to turn anyone in for stealing food. Like, I've stolen food in my 20s when I didn't feel like I had enough money. I didn't steal a lot, but I stole food. I think like I've told the story 1,000 times. Like I'm not going to feel bad about it. But also I wouldn't do it now because I have the money. I am not going to stop someone from stealing food if they need, like if they don't have the money. But if you have the money, I'm like, hey, don't steal food, bro. You know what I mean? So there's something about it where, you know, given the context, but also I hate when people steal like not food. I hate when people steal makeup and clothing. I hate those people. I do. I think they're ruining society. And I don't hate them in a philosophy sense. Okay, so I also separate myself into categories. Brittany, as a community member, I hate people who steal products that aren't food. I think they should be sent to a rehabilitation center. And I think that they need to learn how to fucking keep their hands to themselves. They're making the world a worse place. But also, I, as a consciousness, acknowledge like they're on a journey and this is a part of their journey and society can react how they want. But I do think people who steal and it's not food or medical supplies, like for their health, I basically think they're making society absolutely a net worse. Ooh, I should make that video. Maybe I should make a video about like who's making the world net worse, net positive in my mind, and where it's morally like confusing. You know what I mean? KO said, what about stealing medication? That's so funny. I just said it. You guys are delayed. So, but when I talk, I know you'll see me in about 30 seconds. But that's funny because I mentioned that. So yeah. Yeah, Livy says upper middle class kids stealing from Claire's. Anyone stealing from Claire's. If you steal from Claire's, stealing jewelry, clothes, like, no. No. Okay. Now again, if you need clothes, there are plenty of places that will help you. Even though Goodwill and stuff like that is so expensive now, girl. You know? Love says, I'm not saying we're better than animals, but don't you think we are a little different from animals because we are able to introspect and we're able to voice that? I do agree with you that we're in a different categorization than animals, but I don't think we're different from animals outside of specific contextual categorization. So I don't think you could make the argument that human beings are much different from animals from a universal standpoint. Like if you zoom out of the universe, there's no difference between a bear and a human. If you just literally visually zoom out, we're all just an organism. Like we are the microbugs that are on our body. You know how we have microbugs all over our bodies that we can't see? We are the microbug of the earth. Like we are the little insects that are living in clusters on the earth. And the earth is us. Do you get what I'm saying? But we are in the perception of our ego. So obviously we are having a really real life. Like I'm having a real life. I hurt my thumb today and it really hurt. I really felt that. I was bleeding and everything. My husband experienced worry. Our paycheck experienced a hit because I had to use all these Band-Aids. You know? But we're all like some version of a living organism inside of another version of a living organism, like Horton Hears a Who. So we are different than animals in category, but we're not different than animals in terms of the universe. So yes, we're having a relationship that's different, but we are not having a relationship that's different. All things are true at once, right? Sorry, Alex says mites. True, mites. We are earth mites. Livy says, yes, we are earth mites. And so I agree with you that we're different. But even so, every individual is different. So if we hold humans to a different standard than animals, shouldn't we hold every human to a different standard than to other humans? You know what I mean? Like, it feels weird for me to hold every human to my standard when, like, you don't know what I know and I don't know what you know. You know, and I think that's why punishment sucks. Because when you punish people, it's like punishing the bear for eating somebody. It's like, why are you punishing the bear for eating somebody? It's a bear. But also, if you're defending yourself against a bear that's going to eat you, I think it's within your right to kill the bear. So I think when we're talking about philosophy and introspection, we're not just having a conversation about like, aren't we different than animals? Yes, in one way. But in some ways, no. And then that begs the question, if we are just like living creatures on a planet and we can do whatever we want, Why do we do the things we do? And I think it's because we don't all evoke free will. We can do whatever we want. So why is society set up the way it is? If we can do whatever we want, if we have free will, if we're so different than animals, why don't we do things differently then? If we're so great and so introspective, why do we hate each other because of their skin color? Why do we go to war? Why can't we all get along? Why do perfectly good people not get along? If we're so in control of ourselves, why do we act so out of control? And I think that that's what philosophy is supposed to get you towards, is an understanding of the self, wisdom and knowledge. Why did I do that? If I'm so in control of my life, why did I do that? Man, why do I get anxiety every time I'm about to stream? Why is my body this way? Why is this way? Why is anything happening? If we're so in control, then why is the world the way it is? And I think that's why I work with individuals, because like I can't impact a society the same way I could impact an individual. And since we're all living individual lives, at the end of the day, girl, kind of more important than society. And society is honestly made up of those individuals. So frankly, I do think like you help individuals, you help society. So even I'm lying to you when I say I just focus on the individual, that's a lie. Obviously, I think I'm helping society. Obviously, when people go, Brittany's just so focused on the individual. She's so focused on the individual. Yeah, but come on, you got to know that's a lie by now. You have to know it's a lie, that I don't secretly think, and it's not so secret, I'm saying it out loud, that I think it's going to impact society for the better. But also, I would never want to sacrifice the joy for society for the joy of the individual who has good intentions and is a good person. Because sometimes society as a mob is making the wrong fucking decision. And so at times, I don't care about society as much as the individual. Okay, guys, I think that's up for today. Good video. Good times. If you guys want to check out that documentary, I'll go ahead and link his channel so you guys can check it out. I hope Logan does the right thing. I hope he continues to do good things and discontinues to do bad things.
In my head, in real life I'm in bed, my belly's being fed and I'm okay. I'm just fine, yet all I do is whine, not to you in my mind, cause I know I don't make sense. I've been nothing but blessed, so why's my life a mess? Please tell me, cause I'm sick of thinking, yeah, I'm sick of reaching out for the truth and living life as a fool. Dun, dun, dun.